After a disappointing last 2 seasons for the program, Coach Joe Conlon and team leaders hope to bring this team back to a higher quality of ball than they've experienced in the past. Linebacker James Conway already is the all-time leader in tackles in Patriot League history. He'll have a full season to further separate himself from the rest. Fordham starts a QB making his first start for the Rams today. Gunnar Smith, a junior transfer, makes his highly anticipated debut for the Rams. His opponent, the ACC's Golden Eagles of Boston College. BC also starts a first-time QB and Bama transfer Dylan Lonergan. The Golden Eagles community has pined for steady QB play for decades. Hopefully, they think Dylan is the answer. A lot of turnover for this Golden Eagle roster, losing players to the NFL in the offseason. Their goal, to win more than 7 games this season and capture an ACC title. The goal for Fordham and the Rams is similar, a Patriot League title for the first time since 2014. It's the 2025 season. It's Boston College and Fordham, and it's next, live from Beantown on WFUV Sports. Welcome back to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports and 90.7 FM. For the Rams season opener, they travel to the ACC to take on the Golden Eagles of Boston College. We take you live from Alumni Stadium on the campus of Boston College. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner Brendan Shorey and our on-site producer Tucker Austin. Brendan, it's good to be here. New season for the Rams, filled with new opportunities.
Yeah, you said it, Chris. Anything that happened last season, you can flush it down the drain, and the new campaign starts today against Boston College.
Exciting day, beautiful day here at Boston College. We're going to send it. We got a chance yesterday to talk to head coach of Fordham Football, Joe Conlon, before he embarks on his 8th season at the top of the helm for the Rams. Take a listen. Coming to you live pregame for Fordham versus Boston College, the season opener. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by Brendan Shorey, and we have a special guest, head coach of Fordham Football, Joe Conlon. Coach, coming into this game, one of, if not your biggest challenge of the season, right up front in your opener. Can you just talk about the feel going in? What specifically you want to be successful with your team going into tomorrow?
Well, I mean, I think you want to see a certain level of fundamentals and technique, right? Take care of the football. You know, if you do those things, you know you're in a decent spot going into the rest of your schedule, right? You want to be strong on special teams. You know, and I think, to have success against this team, who's a very good football team, you got to do everything you can to limit their run game. They're going to formation you in the next week. Coach O'Brien does an unbelievable job of using multiple formations to kind of find the stress points in your defense. So you got to do a great job matching their personnel, do a great job against the run game, and you got to get something going on the ground.
You mentioned getting something going on the ground. You have a first-time quarterback coming in to this week as well. How does that impact the run game and the pass game, and do you see there being a pretty good balance between the two?
Yeah, I mean, you always try to have balance, and if you're 50-50 or even 60-40 run, you're typically in a pretty good spot. You never want to get into a game, especially against defensive ends like BC has, where they know we're throwing the football and they can pin their ears back and just kind of get after the quarterback. So you got to have that balance. You got to mix it up. I think we have really good backs, so I want to get the ball in their hands and let them go.
And briefly mentioned Gunnar Smith, the quarterback, going to be a first-time quarterback coming in for you guys on Saturday. His debut in maroon and white is going to be against a Power 5 opponent. Can you just speak to how he has been this offseason, what's kind of led to making this decision, and just kind of the confidence coming into him leading this offense going forward?
Yeah, I mean, he picked up the system pretty well. There was some carryover from his time at UCF, even some verbiage. Oh, wow. And two, he's steady, and Cap made it hard on him. Cap had a really good spring, and it wasn't cut and dry coming out of spring ball, but Gunner's just been a little more consistent of the two. And that's who Gunner is. He's always the same guy. He's never too high. He's never too low. He's just kind of himself all the time. So, and we think he has great arm talent, and the receivers. He has a good rep with the receivers, so we're going to go with Gunner, and it's his team, so we're excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, and you mentioned the prowess of Bill O'Brien offensively, especially just briefly. Can you talk about where you want this team the most confident defensively, especially with that sort of challenge?
Well, yeah, I mean, if we can stand up to the run game, there's really two things. Stand up to the run game and eliminate the chunks in the play action game. If you can do those two things, you'll have a pretty decent shot against these guys. What was it, number 4, averaged 28 yards or something like that a catch last year.
They have 3 players who are great options there, from wide receiver spot.
Just an obscene average per catch, and obviously Levin's a really good player, you got to eliminate the chunks, the max pro shots down the field and things like that, and do a good job. They're a wide zone counter duo team, so you got to stand up to those, and they'll mix in some power and some pin pull stuff. So you can't give them those formational opportunities where they can get the pin pull stuff going. I think we have a good plan, and we'll be able to mix up the fronts and things like that. So go play it.
Gunnar has some FBS experience before he transferred into Fordham.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is going to help alleviate some of that pressure with this being his first start for Fordham?
I think, obviously he's practiced against FBS speed for 2 of his 3 years as a quarterback. But I think more than that, just his journey, these modern day quarterbacks, you're all jacked up to go to X school. That doesn't work out. So then you get all, he's been through kind of the QB ringer, and and I'm sure it's been hard,
Yeah.
3 separate cycles through the transfer portal, and that's a lot on a young kid. And what I think, in some kids don't respond to it how Gunnar has. So I think because of his journey, his particular journey, and how, because of his support system and his folks and how he responded to it, I think it's just given him a level of maturity and a wherewithal that will help him as much as any, reps and fall camp, back in the day or anything like that. Like he's kind of beyond his years because he's had to be.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And we won't keep you much longer. Just one more question going into the game tomorrow and through the game tomorrow. What kind of identity do you want this team to show through with that game tomorrow, regardless of results? What kind of identity do you want this unit to have?
Yeah, I think that, we just told them on the field, like there was 0 expectations on this team going into this game. All the pressure and expectation lies with Boston College.
And there's an advantage to that, of course.
100%, right? And I think what I want to see, and what I'm going to tell the staff, and what I'm going to tell the kids is, you want to see fundamentals. You want to see great technique. You want to see us making smart decisions in situations, right? And if you do that, right, and take care of the football, who knows, right? We've all seen, these games go every different way they possibly can, right? But the other piece of it is now you're going into, the FCS portion of your season, and you say, okay, we are a fundamental team. We're sound with ball security. That message has been sent, right? So now we can, just focus on getting a little bit better at the game of football every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the time, Coach. BC and Fordham, it's next on WFUV Sports. Back here on the campus of Boston College in Alumni Stadium, Chris Carrino, joined by my partner, Brendan Shorey. Brendan, an exciting day, a beautiful day out here in Boston, and a season opener for both teams that should garner a lot of excitement for both programs.
It should garner a lot of excitement. You have Fordham coming in. They get to take on an ACC team, a big challenge in week 1, and Boston College coming out, trying to start their season off on the right note, trying to get a big win, a statement win going into ACC play eventually, but they're out of the next couple of games.
It's going to be Boston College rocking their gold helmets with matching gold pants. They have red jerseys on with white numbers, and the Fordham Rams in their away uniforms got the maroon pants with maroon helmets to match, white jerseys with maroon letters. Great jersey game, Brendan. Great uniform game.
I'm always a fan of a good jersey. I can always appreciate a good jersey.
You know I can from our experiences. 2 first-time quarterbacks for both of these programs today. On one side, it's Dylan Lonergan. He's a Bama transfer, his first game in that maroon and gold for Boston College. And on the other side, of course, Gunnar Smith, the transfer quarterback for the Rams. He's going to have the reins for the Rams offensively.
Yeah, two of which you could potentially call rookie quarterbacks, guys that both have been in college for a couple years at other programs, transferred in this year, and now have the starting job for their new respective colleges. Both quarterbacks trying to take the reins in this Week 1 game.
It's going to be Fordham kicking it off to start this one off. They're on their own 35 to kick it off. It's going to be Bennett Henderson letting it go. The Boston College kick returner set at the 10-yard line, his own 10-yard line, to receive this one. And there we go, a kickoff on this game and the 2025 season. Ball is caught at their own 8. And he has a return past the 25, finally taken down at his own 29, and that's where the Boston College offense will start.
Yeah, Bo McCormick with that one. He catches it on the right side, takes it up a lane, up the middle, and gets just past where a normal touchback would be, and Boston College will start this one with a little bit of plus yardage.
As I said before, Dylan Lonergan, a first-time starter for this Boston College team, a Bama transfer, made 4 appearances in these last 2 seasons, originally recruited by Bill O'Brien, head coach of Boston College, and now he's his head coach. Boston College offense starting it off in the shotgun. Lonergan clapping his hands. He hands it off, a run right up the gut, and it'll be 3 to 4 yards for Turbo Richard, and that starts off the Boston College drive.
Yeah, Turbo Richard met pretty quickly there, just past the line of scrimmage, runs right into this Fordham defensive line, ends up not being able to break any tackles and getting taken down for a short gain.
It's going to be a 2nd and 7 for the Boston College offense. Ball on their own 32. This one just starting off, just 40 seconds into this matchup. Lonergan in the shotgun once again. 3 receivers to his left. Running back directly to his right. He's going to look to pass. Finds a receiver just past the 35, and it'll be a short completion for Reed Harris. He's going to set up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, Reed Harris is trying to find the gap in the zone there, gets a few yards up the field and settles down, finds the gap in between a couple of Fordham defenders and makes the easy catch, picks up a couple afterwards.
It's going to be a 6-yard return for Reed Harris, sets up a 3rd and 1, ball on Boston College's 38. They are in the shotgun, receivers out wide on both sides, running back directly behind the quarterback, Lonergan. It's a 3rd and 1 for the Eagles. He takes the snap, ball up the middle and past the first down marker. Boston College is going to keep it moving, and that's a first down for Turbo Richard.
Yeah, Boston College set up in the pistol there, and it looked like a little bit of a read option. Lonergan trying to read the defensive end, ends up handing this one off for the first down.
Going to be another quick play here for Boston College. Lonergan in the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it off behind him. Once again, it's going to be Turbo Richard. He gets a few yards, a yard past the 45-yard line. He'll be at the 46.
And this one, a very similar play to the last one. Again, pistol formation, hands off to the left this time. This one did not look like it was a read option. It was going to Turbo all the way, and he's able to pick up a few yards.
There was a bit of a discussion in the running back room at Boston College whether it would be Jordan McDonald or Turbo Richard. Turbo Richard receiving a lot of run early in this game. He's out there again. He's going to go out wide to the far sideline. 2 receivers on both sides. Lonergan in the shotgun. 2nd and 7. Ball on his own 45. Takes the snap. Rolls out left. Throws it over the middle. It's caught right on the BC logo. Eventually there's about 4 or 5 Fordham players there to corral the receiver, and it's going to be Lewis Bond with a few yards on the reception, setting up 3rd and 2 on the 50.
Yeah, Lewis Bond settling down there right underneath that second level of Fordham defenders, right underneath the linebacker, and he's able to find a little gap, catch the ball, and pick up a few to make it a 3rd and manageable.
Big 3rd down for Boston College, 3rd and 2 on the 50. It's going to be Lonergan in the shotgun once again, 3 receivers out. Running back, Turbo, faking out into motion, coming back into the backfield. Lonergan takes the snap, looks right, throws on the right sideline. It's caught by Lewis. Lewis taken down right by the out-of-bounds line at the 40, and it's going to be another first down for the Eagles.
Yeah, Lonergan motions Turbo Richard out to the left there, sees that it's man coverage, and goes to the whip route on the right by Lewis Bond. He's wide open for the gain and the first down.
That was Lewis Bond, number 11, the redshirt senior, 67 catches for almost 700 yards last year. He had an even more impressive 2023 season. He's a major weapon for this Boston College offense. Lonergan in the shotgun once again, 3 receivers to his left, fakes the handoff, sets back to pass, throws it long, right above the head of his receiver, Reed Harris, and that's going to be an incomplete pass setting up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, play action there from Lonergan. He gets the linebackers to bite, gets them to come down, and tries to hit that dig route over the top of them, just overthrows that one a tiny bit off the receiver's hands.
Ball's on Fordham's 41, 2nd and 10 for the Boston College offense. Dylan Lonergan looking to pass on that one, unsuccessful. We'll be curious to see if they try it again. 2 receivers on his left, 1 receiver to his right, close to the line. Lonergan in the shotgun once again, running back to his right, Turbo Richard. Lonergan takes the snap, looks left, throws left. Ball is caught, stays running after the catch, eventually taken down after the 25. That's tight end Jeremiah Franklin, the highly touted tight end Jeremiah Franklin, and a first down for Boston College, once again deep in Fordham territory. Call it the 24.
And Andrew Osman, the man in coverage there, he makes a diving attempt to try and deflect this pass, just misses it, but then he's on the ground, and the tight end has so much space to turn upfield.
Just 4 yards away from the red zone, Boston College offense has it, first down. Lonergan in the shotgun. Receiver Lewis Bond in motion. Takes the snap, throws it to Lewis behind the line. Bond eventually taken down right past the 20. Call it the 22, and that'll set up second down.
Yeah, quick screen pass there to the left. Lewis Bond pops right to the line of scrimmage, catches that one, and just follow his blockers up for a medium gain.
It's going to be a medium gain there. 6 yards on the gain. 2nd and 4, deep in Fordham territory. The 18, 10:39 to go in this first quarter. Boston College, a steady domination across the field so far to get into the red zone. We're going to see if they can put a exclamation point on this drive. Lonergan in the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides. Turbo behind him, receives the handoff right up the gut, is swallowed by the Fordham defensive line, and that'll be a short gain, setting up 3rd and short.
Yeah, it looked like a hole was going to open up the middle for Turbo, but it closed real quickly. This Fordham defensive line and linebacking unit all crashed onto the ball, and Turbo's only able to pick up a few yards.
3rd and 2 on the Fordham 16. Big play for the Boston College offense. Biggest play of the drive so far. Lonergan going to set up in the shotgun. He has a tight end in front of him in his formation. This is a wacky formation. Tight end moves to the right, ends up being snapped right to the quarterback, who hands it off to the running back. Running back Turbo Richard runs up the middle for a few yards and a first down, but Jeremiah Franklin setting up in front of the quarterback there, Brendan. That was peculiar.
It was really weird. Franklin setting up in front of the quarterback, and then he motions outright as a lead blocker. You saw him seal that edge and give Turbo the room to get that first down.
Yeah, interesting play call there from Bill O'Brien. He's been known for his offensive mind in his time in college and the NFL. And it's first down on the Fordham 10 for the BC offense. Same formation. Franklin in front of him, goes in motion to the right. It's going to be another handoff up the middle, and the Fordham defense, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. And they're in the backfield to swallow him up for a loss of yards.
Yeah, it looked like Bill O'Brien called almost the exact same play there. Same formation. Franklin motions right. Handoff to the left to Turbo Franklin, but the Fordham defense all over this one.
Big play for the Fordham defense, puts the Boston College even farther than they were. It's a 2nd and 11 now on the 11. It's going to be Lonergan in the shotgun once again. Most of their offense through the shotgun. 3 receivers to his right stacked together. He's got 1 running back in the backfield, Jordan McDonald. Looks to his sideline for a play call, takes the snap. Looks to his right, scans the field, throws left, up the middle, and into the end zone. Jordan McDonald on the reception, touchdown, and Boston College is on the board, 6-0.
Jordan McDonald with what we call a Texas route there, goes out at first, fakes the out route, and then cuts right back into the middle, and he is wide open, able to walk that one in for the touchdown.
Boston College has to be happy with just the efficiency of that drive, going all the way from deep in their territory down the field and for a touchdown.
Yeah, and they just took what the defense gave them. Short, chippy plays, get a few yards each time, and they move their way down the field.
Your first drive on commentary ends with a Texas route. Seems sort of fitting.
It does seem like fate.
Extra point is good, and the Eagles are up 7-0. Impressive first drive for the Eagles. 8.5 to go in this first quarter. A lot of time taken up in that drive, but Dylan Lonergan in his first drive for Boston College, very impressive.
Yeah, Lonergan was very impressive. He had 1 throw that he missed on that dig route over the middle, but aside from that, every read was correct, every throw was accurate, and when he needed to hand it off on those read options, he did. He never had to keep it, and he made those right decisions.
And it seemed the Fordham defense relatively holding their own on the line, but they have to limit some of those big plays or just the small pass plays that led to them getting all the way to the red zone.
Yeah, it was a lot of guys settling underneath the zones, which Fordham needs to look out for throughout the rest of this game. If we see it on the first drive, odds are we're going to see it a lot throughout the rest of the game. It looks like that's what Bill O'Brien was planning to do this game.
And now we shift our attention the other side of the field. The Fordham offense is going to go out there for the first time this season, led for the first time ever by Gunnar Smith. Brendan, just kind of in your initial feeling of Gunnar, we haven't seen too much of him, obviously, but in what you've seen so far, how much confidence could this Fordham offense have with him at the helm?
I think it's very confident. From talking to him, he seems like a very confident guy. He knows what he can do. He knows what he's able to do. He's been in environments like this before at UFC, at UCF, at USF. He's been in these environments, so this pressure shouldn't be too much to him, but he seems like a very confident guy. He knows what he's able to do on the field, and he's going to go and try and show that.
And more broadly, thinking about the Fordham offense, who should someone, from a metaphorical eye, they should keep their eye on kind of going into this season or even just this afternoon?
You know, I'm honestly looking at the tight end room. Jaden Allen, to me, is a big guy. He's been at Fordham for a few years. He's got the experience. He seems like he's going to be that safety blanket for Gunnar Smith throughout the season.
The receiver core, Noden Tracy, KJ Reed, Ricky Gonzalez, they're going to be the ones getting most of the receptions for that wide receiver core. Ricky Parks, Jamel James, Jacob Rodriguez. Seems like the running back room is going to be a bit by committee this season.
It does seem like that. Unfortunately for them, they lost Julius Luffridge after last season, who was a big part of that Fordham offense. But you do have three very talented guys in this backfield who can come in and with fresh legs for each of them can do some very serious damage to these other teams' defenses.
Yeah, absolutely. Gunnar Smith, a USF and UCF transfer, played his ball last year at Highland Community College in Highland, Kansas. Finally played well enough to garner this opportunity. He's been at Fordham in the Bronx since the winter, and he's had more than enough time to prepare for this big moment.
Yeah, that's something he's kind of harped on, is that he's had a little more time than you would expect from a transfer with the team. He's had time to build that chemistry throughout the last winter into the spring, and then through the summer. He's had that time with the receivers, with the tight ends, with the running backs, with the offensive line to kind of get that chemistry with them and build that trust.
Absolutely. Building trust, very important for this Fordham team as they try to come back from 2 seasons. Very disappointing, their last 2. They, before that, had a run of success that people had gotten used to around the Bronx, and they're trying to get back to that now.
Yeah, the Tim DeMora era is something that Fordham students will never forget. One of the best offenses in the country even, but Fordham is definitely looking to try to get back to those ways.
It's TikTok star Luca Lombardo kicking it off for the Boston College special team unit. Luca Lombardo garnering popularity online, now finding himself starting on an ACC team. How about that?
How about it?
Lombardo kicks it off. It'll be in the end zone for a return. Fordham will take it out of the end zone, eventually swallowed. Oh, bounces off a tackle. Looked like he had gotten swallowed. Still on his feet. Eventually gets taken down at the 35. That was a 37-yard return. Fantastic work there on the return. That was Johan Lee Lewis. Fantastic work bouncing off a tackle. Fooled all of us here up in the press box.
It looked like Lewis was swallowed around the 15-yard line. You couldn't even see him from the press box, and he somehow gets out of the scrum, bounces off another guy for a big kickoff return.
Slightly demoralizing first drive for Fordham, and that seemed to get their sideline juiced all the way up. It's going to be starting deeper than they thought they'd be starting on their own 36. It's Gunnar Smith over center in the shotgun. Looks to his left, throws a screen pass, and Ricky Gonzalez has room on the sideline. Eventually pushed out of bounds after the 45. What a play on the screen pass in their first play of the afternoon by Ricky Gonzalez.
Yeah, quick screen to Ricky. You see the corner flash down on the inside. Ricky takes it down the sideline for a big gain.
It's going to be Gunnar Smith under center, running back to his left. Stacked receivers on both sides wide. It's going to be a fake handoff, and Gunnar has it. Past the 40, eventually tripped up. Call it the 36. And what a play there. What a keep by Gunnar Smith.
Yeah, read option there. Gunnar reads the defensive end. If he crashes on the running back, he keeps it himself. That's exactly what he saw, and a massive hole opened up for him.
Gunnar in the shotgun once again. 2 receivers out wide on the near sideline. 2 receivers stacked the same way on the far sideline. Ricky Parks to his right. Fakes the handoff, looks for the pass. Throws deep, a little too in front of Ricky Gonzalez, wide open on the far sideline, and that'll be an incompletion, setting up 3rd and 1.
Coach Conlon already going with some trickery. We saw the screen pass on the first play. This one looks just like it, except you have Ricky Gonzalez fake the screen and then take off up the sideline. Gunner just misses on that pass.
A play this Fordham offense has been thinking about for months. 3rd and 1. On the Boston College 37, Gunner Smith in the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it off up the middle. Ricky Parks gets to the first down, keeps this Fordham drive going.
Yeah, new formation here for Fordham. They line up with 3 receivers on the right. We had seen deuces before, and this one just a simple handoff. Put your shoulder down and get the first down.
He's eventually tackled at the 34. It's going to be a 1st and 10 at the BC 34. Gunner Smith in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Ricky Parks directly to his right. Fakes the handoff, looks deep. Throws it on the vertical. Far sideline, Ricky Gonzalez can't get to it. A lot of contact, no flag, and that's going to be a great play from the Boston College secondary.
Yeah, what Gunner sees there, you see one safety sitting over the top. You just try and read him. If he crashes any bit on that play action, you throw that one over the top. Take your chance on the one-on-one ball. That's exactly what Gunner did. That throw just a little bit off.
Sayer Torrance on the breakup in the Boston College secondary. It's going to be 2nd and 10. Ball still on the Boston College 34. Gunner Smith takes the snap. Fakes the handoff, decides to run with it, evades a few tackles, eventually is stopped past the 30, call it the 28, and that'll set up, that's a 6-yard run. It'll set up a 3rd and 4 for the Rams.
Yeah, that's just a testament to Gunner Smith's athleticism. There was another read option, but this time you have a blitz coming from BC, 2 guys coming off the edge. Gunner has to make one miss.
It's going to be 3rd down for the Rams once again in Boston College territory. Gunner Smith under center. Now in the shotgun, looking to his sideline, to his backup quarterbacks for signals. Jamel James moving from his right to his left. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Smith takes the snap in the shotgun, looks to his left, tries to find Gonzalez. Another great play by Torrance. Zaire Torrance in the secondary for Boston College, causing a 2nd breakup and a 4th down for the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, man coverage there. Torrance on the slant route, just gets over the top, gets his hand in there, breaks that pass up, and that'll set up a 4th down for this Fordham Rams.
It's going to be first point opportunity for the Rams this season. Will Hazlitt is going to be kicking this one. Ball at the 29, kicking it off from the 36. It's up. And good. Fordham on the scoreboard, 7-3. 6:04 to go in this first quarter, and Fordham shortening the gap. An impressive first drive for this Fordham offense, especially Gunner Smith.
Yeah, that's exactly how you need to respond if you're Fordham. You get punched in the mouth by Boston College with their first drive, but you go back and you punch right back, put points on the board, and make this a closer game.
7-3. Boston College still leads with Fordham with a whole new amount of confidence coming out of that drive. Gunner Smith, as we said, one of 2 quarterbacks starting their first start for their respective programs this afternoon. On the other side, of course, Dylan Lonergan also starting his first start for Boston College. Both quarterbacks really good drives for their first drives for their programs.
Yeah, both quarterbacks fantastic drives. Lonergan's was more through the air. Gunner Smith, big yardage on the ground on his couple of runs, showing his athleticism, but both these quarterbacks coming out and leading their brand new teams to points on their first drives.
And now Boston College coming back out there and going to try and reinforce this lead that they already have.
And we saw their first drive. They moved down the field pretty easily, pretty slowly, but pretty easily. So we'll see if this Boston College team can come out and repeat that, or if this Fordham defense has a response.
Fordham defense a little dismayed after that first drive, but they hold their own relatively on that defensive line. The defensive line really where this Fordham team is strong.
It is really where this Fordham team is strong, and the idea of this Fordham team, the identity of this Fordham defense, you got to get pressure on that quarterback. You got to make his life hard back there in the pocket. And if we see some of that this drive, they could really disrupt this Boston College offense.
James Conway, the main man in the middle for the Fordham defense. He plays middle linebacker. Missed his first 5 games of the season last year. Ended up playing against Lafayette, Holy Cross, Colgate, and Georgetown. He had 49 tackles in those 4 games, which is extremely impressive. Even more impressive, he's the Patriot League tackle all-time record holder, and he still has a full season of football to play, Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been fantastic for his entire career at Fordham. 3 first-team All-Patriot Leagues, 1 second-team as a freshman. He has been the guy on this Fordham defense for a majority of his Fordham career, and he just continues to prove why he's so good every single game.
Jalen Dawson, the sophomore playing behind him, came in for the absence of Conway at some points last year, a younger guy, seeing a lot of promise from him. Even Conway, when talking about Dawson, one of the guys he has a keen eye on in the locker room.
And it's super beneficial to Dawson, too, that you have Conway there. You have a guy who has so much experience, who has been so good at this level to kind of mentor you and show you the ropes as you progress.
Conway, along with Cloudy Robinson and Alex Kemper, the 3 captains on this Fordham defense. It's going to be, once again, Bennett Henderson to kick it off for the Fordham Rams. And Boston College will get another opportunity offensively.
Yeah, they had a pretty good return last time. Got it to what we would call plus yardage, past the 25, but not yet to the 30. And we'll see if they can do something similar on this kickoff.
Henderson, with the ball set at the 35, is going to kick this one off once again. Boston College set to return at their own 10. Bo McCormack gets it at the goal line, decides to take it out, stopped at the 15. The Fordham sideline is amped up, and that's a loss of yards. Would have gotten more if he would have just taken the knee.
Yeah, McCormack takes that one off a bounce, too, right on that goal line, and tries to reverse field, take it all the way from right to left, but gets caught right in the middle of the field, runs into some Fordham defenders, and gets tackled.
It's going to be Dylan Lonergan, the quarterback for Boston College. Boston College community been desperate for some continuity at the quarterback position. They're hoping he's the guy.
They've been hoping for that, and they got their big vacancy in head coach with Bill O'Brien. We'll see if he can bring the best out of Lonergan.
Absolutely. Boston College offense starting at their own 16. Lonergan in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his right. Tight end set up on the right side of the line. Fake handoff, looks to pass, drops back to pass, looks deep. Finds the man. It's Lewis Bond who catches it at the 40, is taken down at the 45. A major play for this Boston College offense.
Yeah, play action there. You get the linebackers to bite. You have Lewis Bond on a simple crossing route going from left to right. You just got to loft that one up, and that's exactly what Lonergan does for the big gain.
Redshirt senior getting his first big play of the season. Boston College offense setting up quickly. Lonergan takes the snap, hands it off, and eventually it's going to be Jordan McDonald going right up the middle for a yard or 2 gain.
And I know he only got a yard or 2, but that was a tough run. Runs right into the Fordham defensive line, bounces off of it after a second, and picks up an extra yard or 2 there.
It's Turbo Richard on the run. Actually, Turbo has gotten a ton of play so far this afternoon.
Yeah, Turbo was the main guy that first drive up until the red zone, and now he's out here again for the second drive.
2nd and 8 for Boston College. Ball on their own 45. Lonergan setting up in the shotgun. He's got Jordan McDonald, another first-time starter, directly to his right in the running back position. Reed Harris in motion to the right side. Finds his tight end, Jeremiah Franklin. Catches it right over the 50, taken down at the 45, and they're in Fordham territory.
We saw it a lot last drive. Franklin just goes up and sits about 7 yards past the line of scrimmage, gets in between a couple of defenders, and Lonergan able to hit him for the gain.
It's going to be 1st and 10, another first down for this Boston College offense, now on the Fordham's 45. Fordham going to try their hardest to stop this Boston College offense that seems to just be steadily progressing all afternoon long. Another weird formation. Jeremiah Franklin set up in front of Lonergan, the tight end. Shifts over to his right. It's going to be a fake handoff. Looks to throw. Finds Bond over the middle. Still not taken down. Finally taken down at the 18. What another big chunk play from Lewis Bond.
What Lonergan did not see there is Jaden Skeet get wide open over the top of that Fordham defense. That was an easy touchdown if he's able to see that. Instead, he opts for the safer option, picks up the first down.
Boston College got all the way to the Fordham's 13 with that play. They set up first down. Lonergan in the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it right up the middle. Jordan McDonald only getting 2 or 3 yards on that one. It'll set up second down.
Yeah, McDonald, not much room there to work with. Just puts his shoulder down and tries to drive a few yards forward, pick up whatever he can. He ends up getting 2.
Boston College still up 7-3 in the first quarter of this opening to the season matchup. 3:44 to go in this first quarter. Still a beautiful day here on the campus of Boston College. Both end zones draped in maroon with gold font saying Boston College in the end zones, the classic Boston College logo at center field. Lonergan set up in the shotgun, 2nd and 8 on the Fordham 11. Turbo Richard directly to his left. He fakes the handoff to Richard, looks to pass. Back of the end zone, wide open. Jaden Skeet, touchdown, 2nd touchdown of the afternoon for Boston College.
Lonergan missed Skeet a few plays ago. He says, don't worry, I got you. Hits him on a crosser from left to right in that back right corner of the end zone. Skeet was wide open for the touchdown.
13 to 3 lead for Boston College before the extra point. They re-cement their dominance over this one this afternoon. Their offense almost unstoppable out there, Brendan.
Yeah, last drive it was chipping away. This drive, a couple of big plays really helped this Boston College team move the ball down the field.
Luca Lombardo gets the PAT to go through, and that's a 14-3 lead for Boston College. 3:19 to go in this first quarter. We're going to take a little break from the campus of Boston College and Alumni Stadium. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports. What's up, everyone? I'm Chris Carrino.
I'm Brendan Shorey.
And I'm Tucker Austin.
Your Fordham Football broadcasters for the 2025 season.
Join us every Saturday on 90.7 FM and on WFUV Sports YouTube page for live radio broadcasts of every Fordham football game as the Rams continue their quest to their first Patriot League title since 2014.
With a new look offense and veteran leaders on defense, you won't want to miss this. Fordham Football, every weekend on WFUV Sports.
Back here at Alumni Stadium on the beautiful campus of Boston College. Boston College with a 14-3 lead over the traveling Fordham Rams. An impressive last offensive drive to get them in the end zone. And now the Fordham offense takes over to try and shorten that lead once again. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner, Brendan Shorey. Brendan.
Yeah, just a 6-play drive there from the Boston College Eagles. A very quick drive, too, only lasting 2 minutes and 39 seconds. They got down the field quickly, a few big plays in there, and got in the end zone for the easy score. Took a commanding lead, 11-point lead now, but last time they took a lead, Fordham was able to come right back and punch back. So we'll see if this offense can do the exact same thing as they did last drive.
And we talked about it after the last offensive drive for Fordham, how impressive Gunnar Smith looked. Are you going to look to see that transfer over into this next drive?
Yeah, we saw how impressive he was, especially on the ground with a couple of keepers, a couple of read options where he took them around the edge. We didn't see the exact same success through the air, a couple of passes that he just missed on, but that just comes with reps, it comes with timing, it comes with a little more comfortability in the stadium, in the environment. I'm sure we're going to see him iron those out.
And the option stuff, him keeping the ball, it obviously says something about his athleticism, able to get out there with speed, but also from a smarts level, from a brain level, that's a lot to take in very quickly, and he's done a fantastic job so far. Hasn't missed a read, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct. It shows this fantastic decision-making, and the decision-making has to happen within a split second. You have to be so quick with that decision, and he has not missed a read. You said it, Chris. He's been perfect with those so far.
Perfect so far. We'll see how he is on this next drive. It's going to be Luca Lombardo to kick it off for Boston College. It'll be Johan Lee Luis back there to receive it for the Fordham Rams. Once again, had a major return on their first drive earlier in this first quarter.
Fantastic return at that. Bouncing off a couple of defenders, picked up big yardage.
Lombardo kicks it off. That one's going to go just shy of the end zone. Lewis catches it. Gets past the 15, eventually taken down at the 15. Some laundry on the field as well. We're going to see which side that penalty is on.
Very similar look there from Lewis. Tries to go from right to left like last time where he had the big gain. This time he gets caught up at about the 15-yard line, ends up getting taken down instead of bouncing off those tacklers like last time.
Yeah, that's going to be holding on the kicking team, Boston College. Fordham going to get even more extra help after this return, after the ball is spotted at the return.
Ball spotted, looks like, at the 15-yard line as well.
And that's where the Fordham offense will take over. Gunnar Smith going to take over his second drive of the Fordham offense. First drive, very successful. Couldn't get 7 points, but got all the way into Boston College territory. We'll see what he can do now. Wide receivers on both sides. Takes the snap in the shotgun, hands it off, and that'll be a 3-yard gain for the running back, setting up second down.
Yeah, 3-yard gain. He just puts his shoulder in the ground and goes. That's Ricky Parks right there. Just picks up a few yards and powers through.
Parks going to set up to the left of Smith in the shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides once again. Same formation. Smith sends Parks in motion. Tried to get a quick pass to KJ Reed over the middle, bouncing off of KJ Reed's chest, and that'll set up third down.
Fantastic
quick
defense
2 downs there for the Fordham offense.
Very quick 2 downs there, back to back, and now you're already faced with a 3rd and long here.
3rd and 7 for the Fordham offense, deep in their own territory at the 18. Smith fakes the clap in the shotgun position. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Park shifting over to the left of Smith. Smith, wide legs, takes the snap with the clap, throws it over the middle. Ball squirts out of the receiver's hands, and that'll be an incompletion, setting up 4th down for the Rams.
Yeah, that's Carter Davis there, the safety and coverage on the slant route. Gets over the top, gets his hand in there with the ball and able to pull that one out for the incompletion, setting up a 4th down for Fordham.
There's Fordham captain Jaden Allen on the incomplete catch there, the senior tight end, and that'll set up a punt for the Fordham Rams. Ball down to the Fordham 18-yard line, and it'll be Will Hazlitt to punt this off. Hazlitt receives the snap, punts it out. It will land just shy of the 40-yard line, bouncing all the way past the 25, and will be called down at the 24. A decent punt from Will Hazlitt.
A decent punt, but a fantastic bounce there. That bounce probably gave him another 15 to 20 yards in terms of field position and backed up this Boston College offense even more.
It's going to be the Boston College offense at the Fordham 24-yard line. The 3rd drive for this Boston College offense. They obviously want this one to be as successful as the first 2.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives. The last one, a very quick drive with big plays. The first one, just chipping away at the defense. We'll see what they come out with this drive.
Yeah, Lonergan coming out in the shotgun formation. 2 receivers on both sides. Running back, running out in motion to his left. It's going to be a screen pass on the far sideline. Eventually, that was caught by Luke McLaughlin, and it's going to be a few yards on the reception. Set up second down.
Yeah, McLaughlin there, very quick with that screen pass, catches it and just tries to follow his blockers, gets pushed up to the sideline and is only able to pick up a couple of yards.
First down marker at the 33-yard line. Ball set down at the 23-yard line. 2nd and 8 for the Boston College offense. Ball to 25. Lonergan in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his left. Takes the snap, gives the handoff right up the middle. Turbo Richard taken down by a few Fordham defenders, and he'll be right around that 30-yard line, setting up 3rd down, 3rd and short.
Yeah, that handoff, perfect. Turbo Richards takes it and sees the hole open up right in front of him. He's able to put his shoulder down and power through. He doesn't get hit until a few yards after the line of scrimmage, so able to pick up a few easy yards.
Lonergan leaving the huddle, big 3rd down for the Boston College offense. Ball on their own 30. McLaughlin in motion. 2 receivers to the left and right. Alex Broom, the 3rd string running back to the left of Lonergan in the shotgun, takes the snap, drops back to pass. Fantastic breakup. That time it was Andrew Osman, the linebacker for Fordham. Looked like a defensive back there. It perplexed me a little bit.
He did. He had one earlier. He dove for it and just missed it. This time he's able to get a hand on it. Boston College electing to pass instead of run on 3rd and short, and Osman making them pay for that decision.
Yeah, Osman, the linebacker, the junior linebacker, really adds a dimension to that linebacker unit, especially from a longitude-latitude perspective.
He looks so quick out there he looks almost like a defensive back with how fast he's moving.
It's going to be another punt for Boston College, 4th and 2 on their own 30-yard line. Nice play by Fordham to get the ball back to their offense. The punt is caught and taken down almost immediately. Fordham is going to be pretty far back at the 27-yard line, their own 27, to start this off.
Yeah, not much of a return there. Jukes right, goes left, but runs right into some Boston College defenders, able to be tackled for maybe just 1 or 2 yards.
Fordham defense gets the stop that the Fordham offense wanted, and now the Fordham offense going to try to take advantage of that stop. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 2 receivers to his right, or 2 receivers on both sides. No tight end. Rookie Parks to his right. Smith takes the snap in shotgun, looks to his left, throws to his left. It's caught right on the far sideline, and that'll be a few yards on the reception for Matt Baran.
Yeah, Fordham looking, they see Boston College show blitz. Boston College does bring blitz. They bring 6 guys. Gunnar Smith gets that ball out very quickly to the sideline.
Senior backup tight end Matt Baran on the reception. Smith in the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides. Hands it off to Ricky Parks. Ricky Parks goes up the middle and is taken down by the wall of defensive linemen in maroon for Boston College.
Yeah, this defensive line, they all hold up these offensive linemen. Do not let them get to the second level. Ricky Parks not able to get anywhere with that run.
3rd and 6, ball on the Fordham 31, deep in their own territory. 12 seconds and counting on this first quarter clock. Seems that the Fordham offense is going to let it tick down, and that'll be the end of our first quarter here at Alumni Stadium on the campus of Boston College. Boston College with a 14-3 lead, but the Fordham Rams in that first quarter maybe more competitive than some people thought.
They are very much so more competitive than a lot of people thought. We had an initial spread of over 37 points, but this Fordham team comes out. They give up a touchdown on the opening drive, but they punch right back, and they get 3 points of their own. They did give up a second touchdown, but they have shown promise in every single drive that they have had so far.
We're going to take it back to the Bronx for the one-on-one scoreboard update with our boss, Joe Henry. Take it away, Joe.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Thanks, guys. Let's stay on the gridiron this Saturday afternoon. The big ticket, number 3 Ohio State and number 1 Texas. And it's not an ideal start to the Arch Manning era. The Longhorns, the first number 1 seed to be shut out at half since 2014. The Buckeyes up 7-0 in the third. Other ranked action, number 24 Tennessee taking care of business against Syracuse. The Vols up 38-14 on the Orange. The big game in the mid-afternoon slate, number 8 Alabama traveling east to Florida State for a showdown with the Seminoles. Kickoff set for 3:30. Once that's over, stay glued to your couch. Number 9 LSU packing their bags for the Palmetto State. They visit number 4 Clemson on Saturday Night Lights. That game starts at 7:30. With your one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Joe Henry.
Hello, back here at Boston College, more specifically Alumni Stadium. Chris Carrino, joined by my partner Brendan Shorey, on-site producer Tucker Austin here in Boston with us as well. Owen Kelty producing back home at the Bronx at the Rose Hill Studios, 14-3 after one quarter here in Boston. Fordham coming in as a major underdog to this game. It seems that Boston College has been on the front foot so far in that first quarter, but a lot to be excited about, a lot to have promise about as a Fordham fan.
Yeah, Fordham really showed some promise with that first drive, going down the field, putting 3 points on the board. It looked like it could have potentially been a touchdown drive to open up this game for this Fordham offense, but they get stopped just in field goal range. Their next drive, not quite as good, a quick 3 and out, but again, they've showed promise with some of these plays that they've had, especially in this first couple of drives.
Absolutely. 14-3. Rams still nowhere near out of this game, especially with how their offense is played. It doesn't seem like they'll be out of many games this season.
And not just how their offense is played, but the defense coming out and getting a big stop on Boston College's last drive, not even giving up a single first down there after Boston College had marched down the field twice and scored 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives.
This Boston College offense has a lot of weapons. The Fordham defense able to stop them. That's a major achievement. Between the quarterback, Dylan Lonergan, he's been very impressive this afternoon so far. Lewis Bond has gotten very active this afternoon. Turbo Richard and Jordan McDonald, they've been by committee in the running back position. And Reed Harris, maybe the biggest star skill position-wise for this Boston College team, hasn't fully gotten involved in the way he usually does.
Yeah, you mentioned Lonergan. He's been so accurate. He has that pinpoint accuracy that we know he has shown. He's got that with him today. He looks good. He's making the right reads, making the right decisions. He's leading this BC offense.
Fordham switches sides of the field after the quarter change. They're going to go right to left on this beautiful Boston College turf here at Alumni Stadium. It's going to be Gunnar Smith, third down in the shotgun on his own 31-yard line. Big play for the Fordham offense. He's got Rodriguez directly to his right, two receivers on both sides. Rodriguez switches to his left. Smith drops back to pass, throws it to Rodriguez. Rodriguez smashed right after the 30 at the 34-yard line, and that's going to be fourth down for the Rams.
Yeah, Rodriguez on the swing route to the left there, just trying to make a man miss after he catches it. He's unable to do that and gets tackled for a short gain. That's going to be fourth down.
With the 4th and 4, Fordham has to punt in their own territory on the 33-yard line. It's going to be, once again, another punt for the Rams. Will Haslett going to get out there once again. Will Haslett, very active last season. Fordham team that punted a whole lot. Got some movement on the line. I think Coach Joe Conlon trying to create some confusion on the other side as Fordham tries to punt it away or sets up to punt it away. And I believe Fordham's going to take a timeout or a penalty. What was that, Brendan?
Looked like a timeout. I didn't see any laundry fly out onto the field.
I think they were trying to draw Boston College offsides.
You have 4th and 4, so an offsides does give you the first down. I don't hate the idea of just trying to see if they'll jump. You got nothing to lose from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ball at Fordham's 33-yard line. It's going to be a kick on 4th and 4, forced to kick it away. Fordham offense trying to get something going, trying to get something on the scoreboard after that defensive stop, and they're going to have to punch it right back to the Eagles. Haslett gets that one off, but barely. Finally drops right after the 50 and continues to roll. Finally picked up at the 35, and there's a few Fordham defenders there to clean it up and get the returner down.
Yeah, Boston College really sending the house on this one, looking like they're trying to get a block on this, trying to get just some fingertips on this ball. Unable to do so, but they came just so close to blocking this punt.
It was Justin Johnson on the tackle on the other end on the return. Justin Johnson Jr., 6'2", 195 cornerback. He plays alongside Alex Kemper, captain of this Fordham defense, and T.J. Jones II. It's the defensive back core for Fordham. Lonergan sets up in the shotgun, 1st and 10 to start off this BC drive. Lonergan fakes the handoff, drops back to pass, looks over the middle, looks very long. Seems like the receiver was tripped up on his way to the ball, and it's going to be incomplete. No penalty flags. It's going to set up 2nd down.
Yeah, T.J. Jones on the coverage there. It looked like there might have been an incidental bump, but T.J. Jones looking back at the ball, he's not trying to make a play on the receiver. That one's going to fall incomplete.
That was intended for V.J. Wilkins, the redshirt senior. He subs out of the game almost immediately after that play, and Lonergan will set up for 2nd down. 2nd and 10 on the Boston College 37. Lonergan in the shotgun, running back to his right. Receivers stacked on both sides. Tight end Franklin moves closer to the line on the left. Lonergan takes the snap, looks to pass, batted away. Batted on the pass, it'll be incomplete. What a play at the line. It was Sam Burkell, the senior D-tackle.
Sam Burkell there, huge play there, gets his paws up, gets him on the ball right in Lonergan's face, and is able to knock that one down, make it a 3rd and long.
Number 99 getting his paws on that one, and it's going to set up 3rd and 10. Ball on Boston College's 37. Big play for the Boston College offense. 14-3 lead. 13:51 to go in the half. Set up in the shotgun once again. Lonergan has running back Alex Broom directly to his right. Puts a receiver in motion. Skeet now on the left. Takes the snap, looks back to pass, tries to find Skeet on that far sideline, and a fantastic play in the secondary from Fordham. It was Boogie Owens there to make the deflection or create the pass breakup, and that'll set up 4th down, another defensive stop for the Rams.
Yeah, Fordham sending a blitz from the secondary on the left side. Lonergan sees this, and he goes right to where the pressure comes from, goes for the out route with Boogie Owens all over this, jumps that route, makes sure there was no way that it's a completed pass.
I made a mistake. It was actually Jalen Evans, the free safety, coming down into the 2nd level to make that play. What a play by the senior. It's going to be kicked away by Boston College. That punt travels a little bit farther in the air, bounces at the 10, goes through the end zone as a few Gunners for Boston College tried to race to the ball to pin them deep in their zone. They can't, and the Fordham offense going to take it over.
Yeah, I'm sure those two Gunners are watching that ball bounce in slow motion, slowly make its way to the end zone, but finally hits that red turf, and it's going to be a touchback.
Gunnar Smith, another opportunity following a stop for this Fordham defense. What can Gunnar Smith do in this drive to really give not only his confidence, but not only his offense confidence, but the whole team confidence?
The confidence starts with the short completions. Get a few short completions, pick up a few yards each play. You don't want to get behind the sticks. You don't want to set up third and longs, second and longs. You want to keep up with the chains and keep up picking up first downs.
And Gunnar's done a decent job so far of giving everybody the love, really sharing the wealth offensively. Who do you think, if there was one guy on the Fordham offense you had to pick that's maybe getting underutilized in the early stages of this game?
I think you got to look for KJ Reed here. He's one of your best receivers this year. He's going to be one of those guys that you have to be able to go to when you need a big play, when you need a clutch play, and I expect Fordham to kind of look his direction on this drive.
KJ Reed, one of the stars, if not the star wide receiver for this Fordham unit. Has been around a decent season last year. I think he's looking for retribution in this 2025 campaign.
He definitely is. Decent season last year. You said it. He's got the experience at Fordham. He's been here for a few years, and he's looking to make an even bigger impact this year with what is supposed to be one of the best passing games in the Patriot League.
Yeah, Fordham, especially after this few drives they've seen so far from Gunnar Smith, have to be even more confident in that pass game. The run game, as you said before, Julius Luffridge not here in maroon anymore, definitely changes the dynamic of that running back room. But from a committee perspective, Jamel James, Jacob Rodriguez, Ricky Parks have done a decent job as a group so far.
They have done a decent job, and you have to add Gunnar Smith in there as well with his ability to use his legs, his athleticism. It adds another aspect to this Fordham run game where you have to account for the quarterback keepers. If you're the defense, you have to account for the quarterback draws. You can't just throw him away and say he's not running the ball. You got to watch for that.
Both teams in massive team huddles on their respective sidelines. The Boston College student section pretty filled up today. It was not looking great when we first got here, but I would say 15 to 10 minutes before kickoff, it was completely full.
Even an hour before game time, it looked pretty bleak out there, but it's filled with red and gold. They are loud. They are standing. It looks like it's a very fun atmosphere to be down there.
7-6 record last year for this Boston College team. It seems from everyone we've heard in this program, they're trying to get over 7 wins this season. It would be a major mark for them, and of course grab that illustrious ACC title, something they haven't done before. Fordham, it's a similar goal, but this BC team seems like they have the community excited.
It does really seem like that, and I think it started with Bill O'Brien.
Absolutely. Fordham offense taking over, first down, ball on their own 20 after the punt. That'll be Ricky Parks taking it up the middle on first down. He'll grab 2 yards, and it'll set up a 2nd and 8 deep in Fordham territory.
Yeah, Ricky Parks, a tough run there, just lowers his shoulder and tries to pick up as much as he can. There isn't a hole that really opens up for him, just kind of pushing against the back of his offensive lineman, trying to get anything.
Receivers out wide, Jaden Allen in the backfield with running back Ricky Parks. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it to Parks. He'll run right. He'll grab a few yards on the run, but eventually taken down right before the 25-yard line.
Boston College goes corner blitz off the left side of Fordham's offensive line. They run right. They counter it perfectly. They run right away from the blitz and are able to pick up a few.
3rd and 7 for the Ram offense. Ball in their own 23. Smith in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Ricky Parks directly to his left. Smith looks to his sideline, forward direction. Big 3rd down for the Fordham offense. Trying to capitalize on another defensive stop. Smith takes the snap. Throws it near sideline. Gonzalez has the catch, does not have the first down. He's taken down at the 26-yard line, and that'll set up 4th and 6 deep in Fordham territory, and another punt for Will Haslett.
This Boston College defense has been trying to confuse Gunnar Smith so much today. We just saw 6 guys lined up on the line of scrimmage. Both linebackers faked blitz and then dropped back into coverage. Looked like they were just trying to play coverage and let the 4-man pass rush try to get at Smith.
Ball down on the Fordham 28-yard line. That's where Haslett will kick it off. He's set up right behind the 15-yard line. And Haslett kicks it off. A little more air on this one as the ball is caught at the 20. And eventually, the returner's taken down at the 25. Fantastic tackle by the Fordham kicking squad, and that'll be deep in Boston College territory. That's where the Boston College offense will take over.
Isaiah Ferris there on the punt return makes the catch, but gets pretty much flipped whenever he gets tackled and ends up on his back on the 25, and it would be just like it was a kickoff touchback.
Once again, redshirt sophomore quarterback Dylan Lonergan going out there to take over the reins for this BC offense. Lonergan decent in his first couple drives. Couldn't quite capitalize on their last drive, but 2 touchdowns so far this afternoon.
He does look very accurate. He looks very poised back there in that pocket. He's not letting this Fordham pass rush really get to him in a mental way. He's staying poised in the pocket. He's delivering on time. He's delivering accurately. He looks fantastic.
Backup quarterback Grayson James took over for Castellanos when he left the program last season. It was a quarterback battle all offseason. Eventually, the newcomer Dylan Lonergan beat him out for the starting quarterback role. Similar on the other side to Gunnar Smith and Jack Capaldi, 2 quarterback battles throughout the offseason that eventually led, as we see this afternoon, to good quarterback play.
And very similar stories at that. Gunnar Smith transferring in, Lonergan transferring in, going against guys who were there last year, competing against them for the starting spot, and we have seen a fantastic offensive game to this point.
11:52 to go in this first half of the first game of the new season for the Fordham Rams. 14-3. Fordham Rams trail Boston College. Boston College continuing to try to extend to this lead, but Fordham trying to stay in this game, try to keep it competitive as we get toward the end of the first half.
Yeah, we saw at the very beginning of the game, it was the Fordham offense that was the bright spot of this team, going down and getting 3 immediately. But the Fordham defense has kind of taken that role now. Stops on 2 of Boston College's last possessions. They're trying to give this Fordham offense a chance to come back and get in this game by staying strong, bend don't break, except they're not bending a whole lot right now. It's mostly on the first couple of drives.
And specifically from the Boston College offense, they've gotten some of those big chunk plays so far. It's really what's gotten them down the field in a lot of stages of this game. What can Fordham do specifically to limit those big chunk plays?
To limit those big chunk plays, you got to get in the quarterback's face. You can't make it easy for him. If they're going to go over the top, you got to make it a challenge for the quarterback to deliver. For Lonergan to get that ball over the top, you got to put some pressure on him.
Yeah, absolutely. The big chunk plays, maybe the biggest problem for this Fordham defense so far. Lewis Bond been on the receiving end for a few of those big chunk plays. Reed Harris, the guy known for those big chunk plays. Last season, 28.6 yards per catch. That is a ridiculous yards per catch total in a full season.
It's almost double what you would expect a fantastic receiver to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Reed Harris still not getting fully involved, maybe going to get involved here on this drive. It'll be taken over at the 25 on the Boston College 25. Dylan Lonergan going to start off this drive for Boston College. Lonergan in the shotgun. Jordan McDonald running back right behind him. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Franklin in motion to the right side of the line. Gives it to Franklin. Franklin tried to go past blockers, ends up getting tackled from behind, and he'll get tackled right after the 25, call it the 27.
Yeah, John
28.
Scott the third there for Fordham, trailing that run play, coming from that far side and able to make the tackle from behind for a very minimal gain.
Yeah, run play from McDonald. It was a 3-yard gain, setting up 2nd and 7 for the Boston College offense on the Boston College 28-yard line. It'll be, I think, a stoppage in play here. A defender for the Fordham Rams taken to the sideline with a few trainers around him. It's Nate Lindsey Gill, the junior free safety. Gonna need some help to get off the field there, and we're going to start it up once again. Dylan Lonergan in the shotgun. McDonald right behind him once again. 2 receivers stacked on the far sideline. Lonergan gives the handoff right up the front, right up the middle. My mistake. McDonald takes it a few yards past the 30, eventually taken down at the 32.
We've already talked about him. We've mentioned his name, James Conway. He meets running back in that hole. He just steps up and fills that gap, exactly what you want your linebackers to be doing. He embraces the contact, makes the tackle, keeps it at a 3rd down.
Ball on BC's 32-yard line, 3rd and 3 for the Boston College offense. Lonergan in the shotgun for this 3rd down. 2 receivers stacked near the line on that far sideline. Now 3 receivers. Bond moving in motion. Lonergan takes the snap on the clap, thrown on the near sideline, caught by Jordan McDonald, tackled immediately, and that'll be a first down.
Osmond in the coverage there, so close on that one. Just gets a step behind Turbo there. Turbo able to make the catch and tackled very close to the sticks.
Yeah, don't know if that's going to be a first down. It's not. 4th and 1. Seems that the Boston College offense is going to stay on the field. Boston College offense going to go for it in their own territory on 4th down. Ball on their own 34. Lonergan takes the snap in the shotgun. Hands it off up the middle. McDonald is there to get past the first down marker. And what a roll the dice from Bill O'Brien, but it pays off.
Not just a roll of the dice, but deep in your own territory, going for it on 4th down. No matter how much distance there is to the first down, it's always a very risky play.
What an opportunity for the Fordham defense there. Couldn't quite take advantage of it. Lonergan once again in the shotgun. Lewis Bond by himself on the near sideline. 2 receivers on the far sideline. Another handoff up the middle. McDonald shifting slightly to his left, eventually tackled by 3 or 4 Fordham Rams, led by Justin Johnson, and that'll set up 2nd down.
Franklin, so good. We've seen him used this way a lot so far this game, but as a lead blocker, gets in, sets the edge, does not allow this Fordham defensive line to push back at all, and that way Boston College is able to pick up a couple of yards.
2nd and 9 for BC. Jordan McDonald comes out for Turbo Richard. He'll take over the running back duties in maroon. It's 2 receivers on it's 1 receiver on both sides. It's a fake handoff, rolls out right. Lonergan eventually makes the completion past the 40. Jeremiah Franklin has the catch, eventually taken down at the 45.
Yeah, that one a designed bootleg. It looks like the primary read there is to go to Turbo, but he is covered by the Fordham defense. They jump to that quick, so Lonergan just goes right back inside to Franklin. All reliable, picks up a few yards and makes it a 3rd and manageable.
Big play for the Fordham defense. 3rd and 4 for Boston College in their own territory at the 45. A big turning point for both sides of the ball. Dylan Lonergan in the shotgun. Receivers everywhere. Takes the snap, drops back to pass. Looks to pass over the middle, tries to find Bond, and it's broken up. Fantastic play in the secondary. That time, it was the Buck linebacker, John Scott III.
Yeah,
4th down.
John Scott the third.
BC.
Fantastic play there. We see the guy get open in the middle of the field. It's zone coverage. He finds a gap between the 2 linebackers, but John Scott, so athletic, able to dive and get his fingertips on that one and knock it away.
Fordham linebackers been very agile so far this afternoon. They've been very helpful, and now a 3rd defensive stop for this Fordham defense. It'll be another punt for this Boston College offense. This time it's Seamus Florio. It is caught at the 20, and that's where the Fordham offense will take over. Alex Kemper on the return.
Fair catch there by Alex Kemper. Looked like Boston College went with kind of what we call a sky punt. Just get it as high as you can and let your guys go and get around it. Make sure there's not a big return from that. And Fordham has to make the fair catch. Kemper with the fair catch. Fordham takes over.
And Gunnar Smith going out there now. His 3rd opportunity for this Ram offense after a stop. Let's see if they can finally take advantage of it. Smith at the Fordham 19-yard line. 1st down starting off this drive. Running back Ricky Parks directly to his left. Got wide receivers, 2 receivers on both sides, on the far ends of both sidelines. Gunner back to pass, over the middle, it's caught. KJ Reed on the catch, and that's a 1st down. Fordham's moving.
When you see the wide receivers line up so far outside, you have to expect in-breaking routes. That's exactly what we got from KJ Reed there. A dig just past the sticks, able to pick up the 1st down.
Reed going to line up right behind Ricky Gonzalez. 2 receivers on both sides stacked on the far sidelines of each other. Got Jamel James to the left of Gunnar Smith. Smith in the shotgun, receives the snap, fakes the handoff, takes it on the run, eventually does a front slide at the 40-yard line, and that'll be a 2nd and short for the Rams. Ram offense is moving.
Another
and
good
really
read
moving.
there. Really moving. Another great read there by Gunnar. Takes that one himself, picks up 7 yards, and able to give himself up.
7:50 and counting on this first half. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides. James directly to his left in the running back position. He takes the snap with the clap. James goes up the middle past the 40. He'll be stopped at the 42-yard line. It'll set up 2nd and short.
James with a fantastic stutter step in the backfield, trying to give this offensive line a little bit more time to open up a hole.
I believe That ball is going to be on the 39-yard line. It's going to be on the Fordham 39, or Fordham 42. 1st and 10 for the Fordham Rams. Fake handoff from Smith in the shotgun, eludes some of the rushers, eventually taken down right around the line of scrimmage. Not too many yards lost on that play.
No, Boston College blitzes right up the middle. Gunnar Smith sees this, but sees it a little late, has to try and step up, and thankfully for him, gets back to the line of scrimmage.
42-yard line for the Rams, their own 42-yard line. 2nd and 10 for the Rams offense. 14-3 still, BC leads. 6:52 to go in this first half. Fordham trying to close that gap even further going into the locker room. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Gives the handoff. James up the middle, couldn't get much on it, and that'll be a few yards on the return, setting up 3rd and long. A bit of extracurriculars here on the near sideline.
A bit of extracurriculars. A phone goes tumbling down in the stands, but we see Jamel James here.
I was referring to Ricky Gonzalez and the defensive back having a little bit of fisticuffs, but yes, that as well. 3rd down for the Fordham Rams. Another massive opportunity for this offense. 3rd and 9. Ball on their own 43. Smith in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his right. Drops back to takes the snap and drops back, goes further back, and eventually taken down at the 30. That sack, major loss of yards. It'll set up another punt for the Fordham Rams and Will Haslett.
Yeah, major loss there for Gunnar Smith. Boston College goes with a cover 0 look, nobody deep over the top, and they send 2 guys from the secondary coming off each edge, and they surround Gunnar Smith and are able to take him down.
Ball down at Fordham's own 31-yard line. That's where they'll punt it off. Haslett punting it once again. Boston College return unit looks eager to block this one off. Haslett receives the snap and kicks it off. It's a low punt, drops at the 40, still bouncing, eventually picked up at the 27-yard line and taken down at the 25-yard line. Another good play, another good situation there from the kicking Fordham unit.
Yeah, it's the second time Isaiah Ferris has done this too on the return. He lets it bounce, thinking he's just going to let it bounce and die, and then the ball bounces right to him. So he picks it up and tries to go somewhere, but he's got nowhere to go. He gets tackled immediately, and Boston College will take over.
Haslett hasn't had a lot of air on these punts, but from a bounce perspective, he hasn't really been able to do better.
It's almost beneficial to him, it looks like. I mean, you aren't getting a lot of air on these punts, but every single punt he's had has had a very generous Fordham bounce and has given the one that we watched Boston College let go, it added an extra 15 yards onto the punt. So we've seen a couple bouncers. Ferris has picked a couple up, but these bouncers are very beneficial for him.
The Fordham defense has put together a few stops on the last couple BC offensive possessions. It seems the BC offense has to have a bit of the chip on their shoulder going into this drive.
They definitely should. I mean, the Fordham defense, it's 3 straight stops now for this Fordham defense, something that nobody really expected to happen. Most people would have expected Boston College, their offense, to come out and kind of have their way, and they did at first, but the Fordham defense bounced back from those first 2 drives and has been standing so strong since.
In general, both sides of the ball, Fordham's been impressive, exceeding expectation for sure.
They definitely have. I mean, just the first drive on offense, you just take that one alone, and we saw enough stuff on that drive where we can see that there is so much potential for this Fordham offense this year. The defense, the past few drives, same thing, so much potential, especially with how they're stopping such a good offense like Boston College.
Absolutely. This Fordham Ram program recently is not foreign to BCS wins, whether it was Buffalo on the road a few years ago or it was Temple even longer than that ago at Lincoln Financial in Philadelphia. Me and my father were there. I was a young boy in his Fordham hoodie, just excited about some good Fordham football, and we got some good Fordham football today. Gunnar Smith really seems to be leading the way for kind of this excitement that Fordham football fans should have.
It does. It does seem like it's taking on a new level of excitement from what we've seen in the past. Obviously, for Fordham students, there was the Tim DeMora year, which garnered a lot of excitement, but the past couple of years, it didn't seem as if the students were as into Fordham football, but this year, it looks like we're going to see a little more success than we saw last year. It looks like the Fordham students are going to get into it a little more as well.
And it seems like the defensive side of the ball specifically is going to be leading this team, able to get those stops, giving the offense these kind of opportunities that they have this afternoon.
Yeah, and that's kind of a trade-off from what we've seen with Fordham recently in the past few years. In the past 3 years, 2 of those years they had one of the best offenses in the Patriot League and even in the country. And so now to see this shift in this Fordham team to having such a strong defense that is going to turn the ball over and give the ball back to this Fordham offense, it's refreshing.
The BC offense going to try and get some more points on the board. They've been unsuccessful on their last couple drives. They'll have it on their own 27 to start the drive, 5:20 to go in this first half. So not all the time in the world for the BC offense.
No, they took longer than this on their first drive.
Yeah. Ate up a lot of clock in that first quarter on their first drive. It'll be Lonergan in the shotgun. Running back Alex Broom right behind him. One receiver on each side of the line. It'll be a handoff right up the middle. Broom bursting through the hole. Couldn't get too far, and that'll set up a second and short.
Very quick first step there from Broom. Sees the hole and explodes right through it. Able to pick up a few yards. Gets a few yards past the line of scrimmage before a Fordham defender is even able to get to him.
It's going to be 2nd and 5 for the Boston College offense. Ball on their own 32. Going to try to continue to get small chunks of yards at a time. As I said, 4:50 to go in this first half. Not all the time in the world. Franklin, the tight end, set up in front of the quarterback. He moves to his right. Quarterback takes a snap, looks back to pass, and is taken down in the backfield. A sack for the Fordham defense, and what a time to get one. That sets up 3rd and long deep in Boston College territory.
Jaden Skeet is who that play is designed for. He's going deep, trying to hit Jaden Skeet over the top, but Lonergan just doesn't see any way to get that ball to him without a Fordham defender making a play. Ends up trying to scramble right and create something that gets hit in the backfield and taken down.
Fordham going to try and put together another stop on this BC offense. BC offense, 3rd and 10, ball on their own 27. Big play for the Fordham defense. Lonergan in the shotgun, one receiver to his right, 2 to his left. Broom directly to his left, takes the snap, rolls out right. Lonergan going to try to get to that first down marker, wrestled from behind, and he won't quite get there. That sets up 4th down and another defensive stop for the Fordham Rams.
So much credit to the pass coverage there. If that was a sack, we'd call it a coverage sack. He does end up getting a few yards, but coverage so good that Lonergan has no other option than to run it himself. Ends up being taken down by Conway.
Yeah, who else on the tackle but Captain James Conway. That sets up another punt for Boston College. It's going to be Seamus Florio on the punt. Not sure he expected to be punting as much as he has so far today. There'll be Kemper on the return. He'll make a fair catch signal and catch it right past the 30-yard line, call him down at the 28-yard line, and that's where the Fordham offense will start.
Yeah, same thing as the last punt, just trying to get some air under it. Let that ball hang in the air for as long as possible. Kemper has to make the fair catch or else he is going to get destroyed as soon as he catches that ball.
This Fordham defense giving their offense another opportunity offensively after a stop. This time it's once again a drive following a stop from this Fordham defense. We'll see if Gunnar Smith and the rest can capitalize. Smith in the shotgun. Receivers stacked on both sides. Near each sideline. Smith receives the snap, passes it on the far sideline. Catch is made, and eventually stopped right around that first down marker, short of that first down marker, setting up 2nd down.
Exactly what we saw on the very first play of the game here. Jabril Carter there with the catch. The screen pass takes it up the sideline, able to pick up about 5 yards.
Picking up about 5 yards, as Brendan said, setting up 2nd down and 5. Ball on the Fordham 32. Smith in the shotgun. Receivers stacked on both sides like the last play. And like the last play, once again going to Jaden Allen, who catches it, runs down the sideline, and is taken down past the first down marker. Fordham offense is moving. 2 of the same play back-to-back. It's like we're playing Madden or something.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same exact play.
Profound,
Same
Shorey.
exact
Profound.
yardage.
Absolutely correct there, Shorey. And it's going to be another first down. Fordham offense, ball on their own 40. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Receiver stacked once again. Same formation again. Smith back to pass and is sacked. Destroyed in the backfield. A bunch of guys from that Boston College line got through. Eventually it was Davion Crouch on the sack, and that'll set up 2nd down and long.
Yeah, Boston College sent 6 guys on that one. They blitzed. When you do a play action like that, your running back generally does not have a lot of time to get out and try to help with a block. That time, there is no time, and the Boston College defensive line suffocates Smith.
2nd and 15 for the Rams. Ball on their own 35. Smith in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Ricky Park set up right to his left. gives the handoff to Ricky Parks. He runs right, taken down by the line. Not taken down for a loss, taken down right around the line of scrimmage. They'll set up a 3rd and long, 3rd and 18.
Interesting look there from this Boston College defensive front. They go with a 5-man front, 5 down linemen. Looks like they were completely expecting run, and they got exactly that.
That'll take us right to the 2-minute warning of this first half from Alumni Stadium on the campus of Boston College. The Eagles up 14-3 over the traveling Fordham Rams. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? It's Joe Henry, one of your New York Mets beat reporters for the 2025 MLB season. From Soto's slugging to Senga's strikeouts, I'll have you covered from Citi Field all year long. Follow me on X at JoeHenry_4 for exclusive interviews, game day insights, and live coverage of every play. So take a ride on the 7 train with me as the Mets continue their quest for World Series glory. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Welcome back to the campus of Boston College. We're at the tail end of the 2-minute timeout. 14-3, Boston College leads the Fordham Rams just before the halftime. And Brendan, from the Fordham Ram perspective, I don't really know if you could be disappointed with that first half.
No, you really can't. I mean, you're down 11 points right now. Vegas expected a lot worse. I'm sure a lot of people expected worse, but Fordham is fighting in this one. Their defense, especially coming out and getting some big stops on this Boston College powerful offense. Fordham's offense getting another chance here to go down and cut this lead.
Yeah, on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they looked really impressive. Offensively, they've looked impressive, really impressive in some stages. It would be ignorant to say this team couldn't compete with every team in their conference.
Yeah, I mean, you come in to an ACC school with ACC title hopes.
An above 500 ACC team, not a bottom-of-the-barrel ACC team.
With one of the better coaches that we've seen in the ACC this year, and you're able to compete with them. At least up until this point, you have to have high hopes for the rest of the season.
Bill O'Brien, head coach of Boston College, one of, if not the best offensive minds in college football. One of those offensive minds you're just not going to see playing against Fordham, playing at Fordham, definitely of a higher level. And has done a good job here at Boston College. His second year at the helm in comparison to Joe Conlon's 8 years at the helm at Fordham. And it seems he's really trying to make this a true football school here in Boston.
Yeah, he turned the program around. They were in a bowl game last year. Unfortunately for them, they lost it, but a 7-win season, a bowl game, I'd call that a successful first year.
Beautiful stadium here, packed out. A lot of people in town on the holiday weekend for this first game for Boston College of the season. It's going to be Gunnar Smith, 3rd down and long, 3rd and 18 to be exact, deep in his own territory. Fordham's 32-yard line. Smith set up in the shotgun, receiver stacked on both sides. Smith gives a screen pass, caught by Jamel James, gets a bunch of yards, eventually taken down at the 40-yard line.
Yeah,
8 yards of gain there.
Jamel James on the screen pass there. 3rd and 18. When you go with a screen pass, you're just trying to pick up yards and think maybe there's a chance you can break one open down the field, but at the very least you pick up some yards, punt it away, and play the field position game a little more.
4th and 11 for the Fordham offense. They're forced to punt it back once again. Will Haslett coming out for another punt for the Fordham Rams. 14-3, as we said, Boston College leads this one. 1:53 to go in this first half. They're going to get it back offensively right now with a small amount of time to maybe get something on the scoreboard.
And you know, the most important aspect of that last play for Fordham, you kept the clock running. Boston College had to use one of their timeouts.
Yeah, absolutely. Rams in punting formation. Haslett standing at the 25-yard line to punt this one away. Ball down at the 39. Haslett gets that one away. It'll be caught in the air for the first time on a Fordham punt today. Eventually, receiver will be taken down right before the 20. Call it the 18.
Yeah, Isaiah Ferris, again, he seems like he's their go-to guy on these punts. But, yeah, you mentioned it, finally catches one in the air. Haslett got a very tight spiral, good air time on that punt. Ferris not able to take that one for a huge gain, but able to pick up a couple after the catch.
It's going to be the 18-yard line of Boston College. That's where this Eagle offense will take over. Dylan Lonergan under center once again. He'll be in the shotgun to start this drive. Lonergan with running back Alex Broom directly to his right. Jeremiah Franklin in motion. Moves back to pass, takes the snap. Pass on that far sideline, caught by Lewis Bond. Gets the reception with a bunch of yards right around that first down mark.
Yeah, Fordham sent a blitz from the secondary on that side. Lonergan sees it, goes right where the blitz came from, and gets that pass out on the out route, picks up the first down.
1st and 10, grabs the first down on the reception. It's going to be a 1st and 10 on the 28-yard line for Boston College. Boston College desperate to get some sort of points in this last couple minutes of play they have. It's going to be a timeout call.
Official timeout, it looks like.
Yeah, we're going to...
Whether they're measuring...
Yeah, we're trying to see now.
The initial call is a first down.
I think we might get some sort of measurement here. The chains are coming out. Officials calling for the chains. They want to take the spot of this ball. It's going to be called the first down. Chains are moving. First down. Brendan, what is going on?
It looked like maybe a delay with the chain crew. That's my best guess.
Anyway, delay is over. Dylan Lonergan in the shotgun position. 3 receivers to his right, including his tight end, Franklin. 1 receiver to his left. Drops back to pass, takes the snap. Caught in the flat. That one will be McLaughlin, and another short reception for the Eagles.
Short reception in the middle of the field. McLaughlin catches it, but BC has to go quickly.
BC going quickly. Lonergan in the shotgun once again. Same formation, takes the snap, drops back to pass. Just throws it out of bounds on this near sideline. The wide receiver, Jaden Skeet, tried to make an effort to catch that ball, and it'll be incomplete anyway.
Regardless of whether he was in or out, fantastic catch, fantastic hands there. Just
Fantastic
not able to
effort.
Great effort, just not able to get his feet in.
It's going to be 3rd and 2. Boston College offense wants to keep this drive going. Ball on their own 36. Big play here. 1:15 to go in the half. Lonergan setting up in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left. There'll be the large Lewis Bond in motion now on the right side. Lonergan takes the snap, looks to the right, finds his tight end, Franklin. Franklin, another short reception right past the 40-yard line. Boston College getting closer and closer to midfield, now at their own 42.
If you're Fordham, you're completely okay with that. Short reception, middle of the field, keeps the clock running.
Another shotgun formation, 2 receivers on both sides. Lonergan drops back to pass, finds his tight end on the near sideline. Jeremiah Franklin catches it and gets out of bounds. Clock keeps moving, and the Boston College offense keeps moving.
Yeah, Franklin just shows his experience there on that play. He has room if he wants to try and go inside, pick up a few more, but goes out of bounds.
The clock will stop. There's a Fordham player down, a Fordham defender down, back where the play transpired prior. And it's going to be another official timeout on the field. We're going to take a break along with the game. 14-3, Boston College lead. They're trying to march and add more points right before the half. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Grace McCarron, and I'm one of your 2025 New York Mets beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow along on X at Grace McCarron_ for live game updates, features, and other inside content live from Queens all season long. From Lindor's leadoff blasts to polar bear bombs by Pete Alonso, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Mets make the charge towards October. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
Back here at Alumni Stadium, Boston College trying to get some points right at the tail end here of the first half. 1:01 to go in this first half. 14-3 BC. BC has it on the 50, 2nd and 2. Lonergan drops back to pass, tries to find his wide receiver on the near sideline, couldn't find him. It was broken up before the pass got to his receiver. Actually, the running back, Turbo Richard.
Yeah, Turbo with a little out route there. Kemper sees this and breaks on it. Fordham is playing a very soft shell defense. They want nothing over the top. They're okay giving up the short gains in the middle of the field that keeps the clock running.
56 seconds left to go in this first half. 3rd and 2 right at midfield on the 50 for the Eagle offense. Lonergan in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Empty backfield, no running back. Takes the snap in the shotgun, drops back to pass, tries to find the quick reception. He does at the 45. It'll be a 5-yard return for, I believe, Dawson Poe. And that'll keep this Boston College offense moving. Ball at the Fordham 45, 1st down. Lonergan dropping back to pass. It's going to be a whistle from the officials. I believe it's going to be a timeout from the Fordham Rams.
Timeout Fordham. Boston College just moving so quickly there after that last play, trying to get a next snap in quickly. Doesn't look like Fordham was ready defensively to keep it going that quickly, and that they end up having to take the timeout.
As I keep saying, this offense desperate to get points before the half ends. 46 seconds left. Boston College with an 11-point lead right now, but they wish it was a whole lot more.
They do wish it was a whole lot more, and any points on this drive in their eyes is a win. If they can get a field goal, if they can get a touchdown, whatever they can get, they just want to build onto this lead.
And more consistency from the Fordham offense in that first half, and this game might be a whole lot closer.
It might be. I mean, this Fordham defense is playing outstanding. They're playing out of their minds right now against this talented Boston College offense, only giving up 14 points.
John Scott III, the player on the ground for the official timeout earlier, he's back out there in the right linebacker position. Lonergan in the shotgun, setting up, 1st down. Ball on the Fordham 45, takes the snap, drops back, throws it for another quick completion at the 40. Receiver taken down at the 45. Another quick reception for BC. That time it was Lewis Bond.
And that one just past the sticks. That'll stop the clock momentarily while they move the chains.
Moving the chains, but the Boston offense moving quickly. Lonergan dropping back to pass after taking the snap and gets a great pass off and catch. Jeremiah Franklin catching it right past the 15. Call him down at the 13, and they're in red zone territory. Boston College.
They are in the red zone. That one, just a simple crosser by Franklin going right to left and using his big frame to box out the defender, go up and grab that one right by the sideline. He gets tackled in bounds. Boston College has to use a timeout, but now they are sitting pretty in the red zone.
Yeah, Boston College calling a timeout there, but very impressive on the short amount of time and the quick drive here from Bill O'Brien and his boys.
Not just the quick drive, but the last few plays even. Picking up yards, and then finally the chunk play they needed to get down and threaten.
Boston College set up post-timeout on the 13-yard line, the Fordham 13-yard line. 1st and 10, 13 yards to the goal line for the Eagle offense. 32 seconds left to go in this first half. Boston College up 14-3, trying to extend that lead.
1st down and 10, 13-yard line.
Lonergan in the shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides. Turbo Richard going out in motion to the wide side on the near sideline. Setting up in the wide receiver permission. Lonergan dropping back to pass. Finds his receiver on the left pylon, and he catches and scores. Jaden Ski once again, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon, and the 3rd touchdown for the Boston College Eagles.
Lonergan going through every single progression there, going from right to left, and finally he sees Skeet sitting at that front pylon with nobody within 5 yards of him. Lofts that one up to him, and Skeet comes down, reaches across for the touchdown.
Lombardo out there for the extra point. A quick and efficient drive for the Boston College Eagles.
Very quick, very efficient. They even left a little bit of time on the clock.
Lombardo to kick the extra point. And he does. It's good. 21-3 lead. Boston College gets their 3rd touchdown right at the culmination of the half. 26 seconds left to go in this first half.
Yeah, 26 seconds to go. You can have the argument, is that enough time for the Fordham offense to try and get something going? Some say yes, some might say no, but we'll see what Fordham opts to do when they come out on the field.
Yeah, Fordham now finds themselves 2 scores away from Boston College. It felt very close through a lot of portions of that half, but it doesn't feel all too close now.
No, an 11-point game, you're so sitting there so close, just one score in this game it's a brand new ball game, but now sitting there down 18 points, it's not as optimistic.
Not as optimistic. 18-point deficit for the Fordham Rams. 26 seconds left in this first half. They have the return unit out there to return the Lombardo kick. Lombardo to kick it off at the 35. Lombardo kicks this one off. That one will go through the end zone and be taken for a touchback. Fordham offense with only 26 seconds left to work. Can they do anything in that time, Brent?
I think you start small. You start with, say, a screen pass or a run, and if you pick up 1 or 2 yards, you let this go to the half. If you break through and you pick up 15, 20 yards, you call a timeout, and then you start getting into go mode.
It's all going to be on Gunnar Smith, the first-time quarterback for the Fordham Rams. 2 first-time quarterbacks going at it this afternoon. Smith very impressive in the early stages. It's gotten cooled down a little bit as this game has progressed. Still a lot of positives for the Fordham football fans to look at. Smith set up in the shotgun. 2 receivers stacked to his left and 1 even further to his left. And 1 receiver to his right. He gives the handoff right up the middle to Rodriguez. Rodriguez bouncing off defenders and loses the ball. Boston College and Fordham diving for the loose football. Football is recovered at, call it the 12. Fordham moves back but recovers their own fumble. And that was almost disaster for the Rams.
I would argue that's Gunnar Smith's best play of the day right there. I mean, he sees that ball loose. He sees it bouncing back towards the end zone, and he decides, I'm just going to go dive on it. I'm going to protect this ball, and we're just going to go into the half.
And that is it. Kneeled into the half, both teams running into their respective tunnels, and that's it for our first half here at Alumni Stadium on the campus of Boston College. Fordham competitive in the early stages of that half, got less competitive as it went on, but as it stays, as it is right now going into the locker room, 21-3, Boston College leads going into halftime.
Yeah, I mean, at one point in this game, it was 7-3 Boston College. It was a very competitive game. Both teams went out and scored on their first possessions, but Fordham hasn't found either the end zone or the uprights since that very first drive, and so that's something we got to look out for Fordham offense to try and come out and see if they can find some way to do that.
21-3, Fordham deficit going into the half. They're going to try and close up that deficit, make this one more competitive in the second half. That's it for us and the first half here in Boston. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one halftime report with your host, Kurt Sippel. Take it away, Kurt.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome to the WFUV one-on-one halftime report. I am Kurt Sippel, joined alongside by Joe Henry. Boston College is currently leading Fordham 21-3. But before we get this started, Joe Henry has a one-on-one scoreboard.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Let's stay on the hill. School back in session and teams back to action at Fordham. Fordham Water Polo ranked number 3 in the nation, diving into its season today and doing exactly what you'd expect these Rams to do. A 20-8 win over MIT. They play number 18 Harvard later today. Fordham Volleyball kicking off its season in Binghamton last night with a thriller of a 5-set win. The story, junior Aaron Sweeney, a DNP in every game in 2024, gets the start and dominates, nearly shattering program records with 27 kills, 15 digs, and 7 block assists in the win. Tatum Holderried set a record with 15 blocks. The front row looking strong to start the season. On the pitch, men's soccer has its home opener this Wednesday against Lafayette. You can pull up to Moglia Stadium, or better yet, you can join WFUV's own Griffin Stevenson on our TV broadcast on ESPN+. From Rose Hill, and with your updates, I'm Joe Henry.
Well, thank you so much for that update, Joe.
Hey, no problem.
Let's get that started now with some highlights from this game from Boston College. Gets things started with senior running back Jordan McDonald on a touchdown pass from Dylan Lonergan for a 7-0 up from BC.
Looks to his right, scans the field, throws left, up the middle, and into the end zone. Jordan McDonald on the reception, touchdown, and Boston College is on the board, 6-0.
Up next, Fordham responds on a 35-yard drive that ends in a 46-yard field goal from Bennett Henderson. 7-3. Fordham scores.
Ball at the 29, kicking it off from the 36. It's up and good. Fordham on the scoreboard, 7-3.
Boston College on an 84-yard drive ends in a Jaden Skeet pass from Dylan Lonergan for the second touchdown of the game to bring the score back up to 14-3.
He fakes the handoff to Richard, looks to pass. Back of the end zone, wide open. Jaden Skeet, touchdown. Second touchdown of the afternoon for Boston College.
And for our final highlight that we don't have sound for, Boston College adds on another score at the end of the half. Jaden Skeet reception from Dylan Lonergan puts Boston College up 21-3. Well, Joe, this is the 125th anniversary of Fordham football.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to think that this is something that Fordham has hung their hat on a lot of their time being a football team has been their defense. I mean, legendary people that have come here. Vince Lombardi, they were showing him on the broadcast. Legendary defenses. This season, so far, Fordham has hung their hat on offense for the last few seasons. Now we're highlighting their defense and how many stops they have gotten Boston College so far. And it just looks like a different Fordham team when it comes down to it because they're able to stop Boston College so often that they've been in the game almost the entire time. They've stayed competitive against a really good ACC opponent.
Yeah, I mean, they forced 4 punts in the half. I don't think many Fordham fans would have expected that they forced 4 punts all game against a team of BC's caliber and offense of that caliber. Of course, things soured a little bit by that score from Boston College at the end of the half, puts them up by 18. That puts them kind of on pace with the spread. I don't know if it's been mentioned on the broadcast. There's a 37-point spread in this game. But Fordham has to be happy with the way things played out, even until that last drive when BC was able to get down and put the ball in the end zone. The Rams, while the offense hasn't been anything special, have really showed improvement on both ends. Defensively, yes, the D-line has been much improved, and I think you could expect that with some improved health, with a veteran presence on this D-line. This is a lot of seniors and grad students in that front seven, and they hold BC to 2.5 yards per carry in an entire half of football. This is a Power 5 program with a solid running quarterback, with a decent running back tandem, and yet McDonald has 6 carries for 20 yards. Richard has 7 carries for 19 yards. I'd argue that he's been the better of the two. The longest run that BC's had today is 6 yards. That's nothing. They haven't moved the chains on a rushing play. So Fordham's front seven is really what they have to hang their hat on. But I'd say the secondary as well. I mean, there were a couple plays. Fordham got a sack in this half. It was really a coverage sack. It took a while to unfold. But Fordham's secondary able to stay sticky late after snaps. And it turns into a sack. It turns into a couple 3-and-outs. It turns into 4 punts. A lot to like from this Fordham defense.
Well, Fordham has held Turbo Richard from Boston College from putting on the Jets, which is something that has been very important for today. And just a shout-out for Fordham so far, Alex Kempler and James Conway, both captains of this Fordham football team that have been really good. 9 total tackles and 8 for Conway, 9 for Kempler. And just that's exactly what Fordham needs if they want to stay in this game. I know Gunnar Smith right now, a brand new quarterback for Fordham. We can talk about him. 61 yards in total, 8 for 13 completions. You like what you're seeing from the JUCO quarterback last year. He hasn't had many opportunities in his football career so far, but I think Smith and the entire Fordham coaching crew is getting what they thought they were going to get out of him, which is a pretty good presence. He's been here since last winter. They were talking about that pretty much on the broadcast a lot, was that he's had so much time as a transfer to really be with this team and really feel what it's like to be a Fordham Ram, which is something that is so important when you're trying to become the helm. You're the not the captain, but you are the driver of the entire ship when you are Gunnar Smith, and you have to be comfortable with that system. You have to be comfortable with those players. And right now, I feel like he has been comfortable enough, but Fordham just has to figure out a way to make it so he can maybe get more passes through, more of their running plays. I know they've been doing it a lot more today. Just need something to start clicking if you're Fordham, because your defense can do it all game, but Boston College is not slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors that contribute to Smith's quick assimilation here to Fordham, both as a team player, but also as a performer now through a first half and as big a game as he'll play in probably in his collegiate career against a school like BC, against a packed stadium here for week 1. High hopes for the Golden Eagles. Smith's looked good. They've kept the game plan simple. I think that's the biggest key. He's 8 for 13, not incredible, but the types of throws that he's had to make, it's been mostly short stuff to the flats, over the middle, relying on yards after catch. Ricky Gonzalez has 20 yards after catch on the day. James has 13. Carter has 13. That's been the game plan. He hasn't been able to push the ball deep, but he also hasn't made any mistakes. No interceptions. Yes, no touchdowns, but I think that's nothing that you can really complain about. And he's also shown a little bit of dynamicism with the legs. He's gotten out and rushed. He's moved the chains once or twice with his legs. And I think overall, a lot to be happy about. You said about how he's spent time with his Fordham program for a while to get comfortable. He said in our season preview, he talked to our broadcasters and he said, yeah, I was here in the winter. This is a guy who was playing last year for Highland Community College in Florida, but he already was in the portal in the winter, visiting Fordham with the team, getting to know the players, the playbook, the coaches, stays around for the spring, and of course he's there for the summer. He emerges as the starter. There was no sure thing that this guy was going to be the starter. The expectation was that Jack Capaldi was going to be the guy taking the majority of snaps under center, maybe Trip Hawley, but Gunnar Smith really, I think, blew coaches away and emerged as the clear number one guy, and I think he's shown why in this game. Even if he hasn't dazzled you with any crazy plays downfield, he's followed the game plan and has kept Fordham relatively tight, even though they haven't been able to convert when they get into BC territory and put the ball in the end zone.
Well, that's one of the things that Fordham really has to start trying to get to. They have 0 red zone attempts at the moment. Boston College has really kept them out. This is a very defensive matchup that is going on right now, and Boston College's head coach, Bill O'Brien, has really shown in his preseason that he's had that they are going to make it hard for teams to do anything because of their defense that they have been putting up. And you saw that at the end of the game when when a fumble got forced. And the one thing that you did see was Gunnar Smith, was able to...
Happens to everyone.
It does. Just mixing up all the different Gunners. But he was able to get on top of the ball and retain possession for Fordham.
Mm-hmm.
And we heard Brendan Shorey, the all-time great Brendan Shorey, on the Football Color right now. That is what they're saying. They're saying that in Boston College, too, the people that are near the booth. I've been hearing on the crowd.
Many people are saying this.
Many people.
Many people.
But Gunnar Smith getting on top of the ball and showing that he has the football IQ and he has the heads-up knowledge to be able to get started and really put his body on the line for this Fordham team.
The willingness to dive on that, knowing that you have guys who are a lot bigger than you. Well, I guess there's very few people bigger than Gunnar Smith. He's huge, 6'5".
But I think that
but
also
still,
shows...
knowing that you're going to get dove on, there might be a pile for the football, but he's willing to do that to save the possession. And even if it's not a flashy play, this isn't something that allowed Fordham to keep possession and then march down the field. This was knowing that if he dives on this ball, the clock keeps ticking and the half runs out, and you're content to go to the half, knowing that BC wasn't able to force a last-second turnover, get a huge momentum play, get the ball in the red zone with 20 seconds left, put up another field goal, maybe even score a touchdown. The magnitude of him jumping on that ball could change the landscape of this game.
And what I think is so much more important, what you could focus on, is why he did these things. I think it comes from really not getting as much playing time when he was at the University of Central Florida, when he was at the University of Southern Florida in his first 2 years.
Yep.
Because he knows what the things he has to do. He has to do the extra plays because he's never been able to really dive in and be the starter or the guy that was first. So if you're not the first guy, you always have to do the extra so people see you. And that's probably why Fordham saw him, Joe Conlon saw him and recruited him to this program, because they needed people that are able to do the extra. Because last year really didn't go Fordham's way. Their offense was good, but it felt like sometimes that things did not go their way because there was no extra. And Gunnar Smith might be the guy that puts them into that conversation. The Fordham, we were going to talk about this too, finishing last in the Patriot League polls. Maybe it's just that they don't know what this defense and this hopefully offense that can start prospering under Smith will start becoming.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns on the offensive end. I think a lot of people look to the O-line. There's a couple positive silver linings in this first half. I think there's no moral victories, but you can't be too upset with some of the things we've seen up front and in certain aspects of the game where Fordham's really struggled. The O-line gave up 5.16 sacks per game last year. That was the worst in the Patriot League. So far, in one half, they do give up 2. It's not great, but it's not terrible, especially against a Power 5 team. This isn't a Patriot League pass rush. This is Boston College. Conlon said that the O-line was going to be stronger and deeper this year. I think it's too early to make the call on that, but I think this is a good first step through 30 minutes. Same situation in terms of penalties. They committed just one all half. It was a delay of game. To be expected. It's week 1. You're playing against a big crowd, big opponent, some nerves, some noise, but no false starts, no holdings, nothing really to harp on. This is a team that committed 5 penalties a game last year. That was second to last in the Patriot League. Better discipline in 2025.
Well, Joe, I want to just ask you, what do we want to see more of when this team comes back out of the halftime? Conlon's giving them probably a great speech in the locker room.
Great speech.
I would assume
He's
great
a verbose
speech.
guy.
He's
a funny guy, too.
He seems like if you listen to it on WFUV's YouTube, you can hear the preseason with the Fordham football team, listening to him talk. It was really very insightful for what he's expecting from this team.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see Fordham attempt to rush the ball more, but because their defense has been good, their O-line still has questions, but hopefully maybe some more passes. I want to see the yardage go up just a tidge, because right now it's 65 to 265 total yards from Boston College to Fordham. You cannot have 200 more yards on your opponent. Your opponent cannot have 200 more yards on you, and you have to expect to win. So I just hope that they are able to figure that out just a little bit more, as well as get to the red zone. Please just try to get to the red zone 1 or 2 more times, because you don't know what Smith is going to look like in the red zone. Fordham's rush game has been pretty good this game. Their receiving core has been pretty solid. Try to get to the red zone, because you can probably get there. Boston College their defense has been upped, but you never know what you can get. 1 score in this game, and things are changing.
Yeah, Fordham obviously has much to improve in both phases offensively, the rush and the pass. Only 4 rushing yards in the entire half, 61 passing yards. I think the thing that I'm most curious to see would be Gunnar Smith being more willing to push the ball downfield in a game that's starting to get out of reach. You're down 18. You're getting the ball out of halftime. I'd like to see this team take a couple of shots, maybe down the sideline. I think that's where Smith had found more connections in the scrimmage that we saw last week. It would also be interesting to see what happens when they get into the red zone, because Conlon talked about Smith having so much success in open field, pushing the ball into tight windows, and he's just passed every test over the summer training camp. But what he did closer towards a game day was starting to use Gunnar Smith in red zone situations to see how he handles the shortened field. Everything's more compact. The windows get tighter. Those situations are much tougher to convert in. I'm curious to see how he would do should Fordham get to the red zone. That's obviously the goal here on drive number 1 out of the second half.
Well, Joe, we will see what happens in the 70th anniversary of Boston and Fordham facing for the last time. Last time Boston took that meeting 21-7, but we will see what happens. We're going to send it back to Boston College at Alumni Memorial Stadium with Chris Carrino and Brendan Shorey. Take it away, guys.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Back here on the beautiful campus of Boston College on this beautiful afternoon here at Alumni Stadium, the hosting Boston College Eagles up 21-3 over the hosting Fordham Rams. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner Brendan Shorey. We have on-site producer Tucker Austin here as well. We got Owen Kelty producing in the studio, Joe Henry and Kurt Sippel in the studio. You just heard them during halftime. Brendan, a first half that it was promising in the beginning, got less promising as the half went on, but still a lot of positives to take out of that first half from the Ram perspective.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Rams, I think the big blow is really that third touchdown. You're sitting in a game where you're down 14-3 against this ACC team in Boston College who came in and were massive favorites, but you're sitting there only down 11 points, and then Boston College scores that touchdown at the very end of the half to take a commanding 18-point lead going into the half. You do get ball here if you're Fordham to start out the second half, but that last touchdown really does hurt.
Absolutely. That definitely hurt. A lot of positives on the Boston College side, obviously, especially the big man up front, Lewis Bond, the big man in the wide receiver corps, 7 receptions, 106 yards in that first half. That's a career high for him. I think the connection between Bond and their new quarterback, Dylan Lonergan, seems to be the connection that worked so far in that first half.
Yeah, Bond's previous career high, 104 yards against Virginia back in 2023. He's already surpassed that, not just in a game, but in the first half of this game. He's already set a new career high in passing yards. Lonergan is looking for him out there. He's hitting him every single time, very accurate, and Bond has just taken off in that first half.
Yeah, taking off in that first half. The BC defense did a decent job. The Fordham offense got in their own way a lot of times in that first half, but it seems from what they can control, Boston College has done a really good job.
They have done a good job both offensively but especially defensively. I know we've talked about the Fordham offense and how they haven't really converted since that first drive, but we need to show love to this Boston College defense as well. They keep getting pressure on Gunnar Smith and doing a great job stopping this Fordham offense.
Luca Lombardo kicking it off for Boston College. Fordham Rams will be back to receive this one to start the second half. Fordham kicked to start this game, and Lombardo will do the same. Lombardo kicking it off at the 35. Return man for Fordham back at the goal line. And he'll let that one go over his head into the end zone, and a touchback for Fordham.
Yeah, that one, Yohan Lee Lewis there. It seems like he's been the guy for Fordham back there the past few times. He wasn't the guy back there to start the game, but has been back there the past few times, has given a few good returns for this Fordham team. He just lets that one fly over his head, though. That one lands about 7 yards deep in the end zone.
Fordham offense coming back out. They've had some misfortune in their last 3 or 4 drives. Gunnar Smith, a decent job in that first quarter, and hasn't really had the same success since. It's going to be Smith in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his left. Fakes the handoff, goes long, deep ball, no good on that far sideline. Ball goes past the wide receiver, out of his hands, out of the reach of his hands, and that'll be second down.
Yeah, that deep ball just a little overthrown. It looked like there was some separation there, possibly a little tug by the defense on that. It was just straight go route, but that ball probably deemed uncatchable, went way over the receiver's head.
Over his head, second down now, second down on the ball on the Fordham 25, and that's an interception. Ball taken away by Jaden all the way in the secondary of this Boston College team. Davion Crouch, quick hands on the pass. Gunnar Smith almost got it past him. It was caught and taken to the end zone for a touchdown. Pick 6, Boston College, doing it on both ends of the field.
Davion Crouch just completely jumps that route. It looked like a hitch route over the middle. Gunnar Smith just doesn't see Crouch. He jumps from the middle of the field, cuts that route off. Very good hands on that, hands catch, pulls it in and has a wide open path to the end zone.
Caught that ball within the Fordham 20. Didn't have far to go, but a heck of a play with his hands.
A very nice play. Looking like a receiver out there with those hands. Very quick reaction time and grabs that ball.
Lombardo going to kick through the extra point for Boston College, their 4th touchdown of the afternoon, and that brings the Boston College lead to 28-3, 14:47 to go in this third quarter.
A very surprising twist here. Fordham comes out and gets the ball to start the second half, but a very quick pick 6 on the second play of the half from Gunnar Smith, and Crouch extends that lead for Boston College.
Crouch and Davis combining for a heck of a first half. They were good all half long. They had 1 sack to their name, 6 tackles, 1 breakup, and that, of course, the crown the gem in the crown of their afternoon so far.
It definitely does add a lot to this. Boston College and their defense and how well they've been playing. You add a pick 6 onto the resume they've already built throughout this game. They're playing fantastic.
Both sides of the ball scoring points for this Boston College team, and now three possession deficit for the Fordham Rams. They're going to get the ball right back. What does that do mentally, Brendan? Obviously, your time playing the game, just having a pick six like that in a possession where you really need to get points, just that sort of demoralization right away.
Oh, it's a huge blow to not just the morale on the Fordham sideline, but the confidence that this team is going to have as well.
That ball's caught on the goal line from Lombardo, kicking it off once again for Boston College. Eventually, returner's taken down right before the 20, call it the 18, and that's where the Fordham offense will take over.
And that return there looked like it was kind of just bring it out because you want to have a kind of a momentum swing for this Fordham team. You want to try and get a big play, and one way you can do it is off a kick return, but getting tackled short of the 25, that does kind of the opposite. It just adds on to this kind of downtrodden attitude.
Gunnar Smith takes it at his own 18. That's where the drive will start. Gunnar Smith, his first interception of his Fordham career, first pick six of his Fordham career. 14:41 in the third quarter. Smith takes the handoff in the shotgun, and he's blown up in the backfield. Multiple D linemen for Boston College there in a hurry, and Gunnar Smith's going to lose yards for Fordham.
Boston College defensive line is not fooled on this one. We've seen this play earlier in the game. A Gunnar Smith keeper. He fakes the handoff and takes it around the edge. Boston College defensive line was all over it this time.
It's going to be 2nd and 13 after the loss of yards. Ball on the Fordham 15. Smith in the shotgun once again. Two receivers on both sides. Park in motion going left. Smith gets it in the flat to his right, and a blow up immediately after the reception. It was caught quickly, but also quickly taken down.
Yeah, KJ Reed there on the screen pass. You have the receiver bolt in and try and meet his offensive line. That's all going to be pulling out. Offensive line does not get there in time, and Boston College defense blows that up.
3rd and 15, 3rd and long for the Fordham Rams, deep in their own territory at the 13. Smith in the shotgun. 3 receivers bunched up to his left, 1 receiver out wide to his right. Ricky Parks directly to his right in the backfield. Smith claps and receives the snap. Drops back and throws it, almost throws another interception right in and out of the hands of the Boston College secondary, and that'll be a 4th down for the Rams, another punting opportunity.
This Boston College defense is so deceptive. They line 8 guys up in the box and show blitz, and then it's only 4 guys that go, but you don't know which 4 are going to come, and it ends up being a combination of secondary guys, a linebacker, and a couple of defensive linemen.
Yeah, it was KP Price almost getting the 2nd interception. The strong safety, the junior strong safety, almost made another fantastic play for Boston College. It'll be another punt. Will Hazlitt once again out on the field. He's going to be kicking this one in his own end zone. Ball down at the 13, the Fordham 13. 4th and 15. Real small percentage for a fake here. Hazlitt gets it off. It'll fly all the way to the Boston College 45 where there will be a return. Evades a few tackles, past the 40. Finally stopped at the 45, but another good return that time from Isaiah Ferris, the junior.
Yeah, Isaiah Ferris finally gets one where he has space to return it. He makes a guy miss real quick and then has so much space up the right sideline, able to pick up a good gain on this punt return and give this Boston College offense very good starting field position.
28-3, a large mountain for this Fordham Ram team to climb. 13-14 to go in this 3rd quarter. Both teams going in their huddles. We'll take a little break along with them. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Chris Carrino, joined by Brendan Shorey here at Alumni Stadium on the campus of Boston College. Boston College doing it on both ends of the field. They've got a 28-3 lead over the traveling Fordham Rams. Both teams in their opening game of the season. And for one, it's going better than the other, seemingly.
It's going much better for Boston College, and it's different than the way it started as well. First 2 drives of the game, both teams go down and get some points on the board, but ever since then it's been all Boston College. They have been going down and scoring. They had the pick 6 recently. Now they have Fordham they just got the ball back after the punt, and they have very good field position to start their next drive. They've been very dominant just to open the second half.
Absolutely. It happens on both ends. We've obviously seen points scored by the Boston College defense, but the Boston College defense has had value this afternoon aside from just the points they're able to score.
Aside from just the points, they've been stopping Fordham offense on every drive except for the first one at this point. That first drive, they looked a bit shaky, but it must have been them just kind of getting warmed up, getting into the feel of things, because ever since then, they've been so strong. They haven't been giving this Fordham offense much to get away with.
No, haven't been giving them much to get away with, and it's been a shame because the Fordham defense seemingly has given this Fordham offense a lot of ammo, a lot of momentum. When it comes off the stops, they strung 3 stops together on this Boston College offense at one point, and the Fordham offense couldn't do anything about it.
They got 4 at one point too. Yeah, they added 1 more at the end, but they were so good for that stretch, and then came the 2-minute timeout, and then after the timeout, you had this Boston College offense drive down, put more points on the board, and that was a big blow to this Fordham defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if the Fordham defense can hold strong once again this afternoon. We had some injuries, some trials and tribulations throughout this afternoon. John Scott, one guy who went down for this Fordham defense, he's back in there playing right linebacker. And it's the Boston College offense. Dylan Lonergan in the shotgun. Running back directly to his left, Jordan McDonald takes the snap, drops back and taken down. John Scott III right on cue, getting the sack in the backfield and creating a big play for the Fordham defense.
John Scott there, great job. He's coming off the edge and kind of forces that pocket to collapse. Lonergan has to step up, but John Scott doubles back and meets Lonergan in that hole where he was trying to escape for the sack.
Lonergan going to set up 2nd and long, 2nd and 14. Ball on the Fordham 39. Not too far for Boston College to march here. 2 receivers on the left, shotgun formation for Lonergan. Takes the snap, gives the handoff right up the middle. Turbo Richards stopped, denied, going up the middle. That'll be a 1 to 2 yard gain for BC.
And who else but James Conway to be the guy that meets him in the gap?
Yeah. The all-time leading Patriot League tackler. Still a full season ahead of him to create more separation between him and the rest. Conway, the man in the middle for this Fordham defense. He's really what makes everything go.
He is. He's like the quarterback of this Fordham defense.
Truly. 3rd and 13, 3rd and long for the BC offense. Ball in the Fordham 38. Lonergan in an empty backfield in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Lonergan making changes at the line. Now 2 receivers on the left stacked. Throws it to one of the ones who is stacked. It's Lewis Bond. Bond has some blockers in front of him, eventually taken down at the 30-yard line, pushed back maybe a yard or 2 behind that, and that'll be 4th down for BC. They have a decision to make.
Yeah, Lonergan actually audible to the screen pass there. He saw Fordham line up 6-man front. You had both linebackers on the line. You got press coverage on the outsides. Looks a lot like man coverage. Looks like blitz. And then Fordham drops out of it, only sends 4, and they're able to rally to the screen pass.
Lewis Bond, his 8th reception of the afternoon. It'll be Lombardo coming out with the rest of the field goal unit. Try to put 3 extra points on the board for BC. Ball's at the 30. It's a 42-yard kick for Lombardo. Lombardo kicks it. It's high. Hits the top, hits the cross, hits the bottom cross of the uprights and goes through. A little crossbar challenge from the high school soccer player, and Lombardo gets 3 extra points on the board for BC. 31-3, 10:59 to go in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, great bounce there for Lombardo. You never know how that ball is going to bounce off of the crossbar. It could bounce back, could bounce sideways. This ball lands on it at such an angle that it hits that crossbar and just bounces straight up and back through the uprights. He'll take it any way he can get it. It may not be pretty, but it looks cool.
Absolutely. Lombardo not wasting any time getting his kickoff ball out there. Kickoff obviously going to go on the 35, and the receiving team for Fordham trotting out there their white jerseys, maroon pants with maroon helmets as well, white face masks. Lombardo going to set up with the rest of the kicking team to kick this one off. Fordham offense, another opportunity. They find themselves less and less competitive as this game goes along, but the opportunity to look at their offense, to improve their offense, that never goes away.
It never does. We've had a past couple of drives have been iffy, but they get the ball back now.
Return taken by the goal line all the way out to the 18. It'll be an 18-yard return before the Fordham returner taken down, and that's where the Fordham offense will take over.
They're starting just before the 20, not yet the 20. That ball, one that could have possibly bounced and went through the end zone, but there's always so much uncertainty with kickoffs, which way is that ball going to bounce when it lands. You never want to risk it bouncing back and out into play.
Two receivers out wide on the near sideline for the Rams, and one receiver out wide on the far sideline. It's Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, rolling out left on the designed run, threw it to his tight end, Jaden Allen, who I believe caught it for a loss, and it'll set up a second and long deep in Fordham territory.
Yeah, bootleg there to the left side of the field. Gunnar Smith sprinting out with Jaden Allen right in front of him, but you have a defender going after Smith. You got one tight on Allen as well. Nowhere to go with that ball.
And nowhere to go with that one, setting up 2nd and 10, ball in the Fordham 19. Smith receives the handoff, gives it off to the running back, who gets taken down in the backfield for a loss.
Yeah, Boston College, this is the second play in a row now that they've run a secondary blitz. Someone coming out of the secondary trying to time that snap, and he timed it perfectly, came off the edge, and was able to make the tackle in the backfield.
Jamel James in the running back position, directly to the right of Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. Smith in the shotgun, clapping, trying to draw this BC line off sides, now looking to his sideline for direction. Smith has Matt Buron setting up right in front of him in the backfield. Smith receives the handoff, put it deep, over the shoulder, over the head, over everything of the wide receiver deep. Faked the handoff. I thought he gave the handoff for a second, threw me off. And Gunnar Smith overthrowing once again another receiver and another 4th down for the Rams. They're all too used to the 4th down in the punting unit this afternoon.
Yeah, Jabril Carter was the target there on that throw. It looks like him and Gunnar Smith weren't exactly on the same page. Maybe they had different routes they were running in mind, but that ball just sails way over Jabril Carter's head.
Ball at the Fordham 17. They'll kick it off. Will Hazlitt out there once again, one of the most valuable members of this Fordham team so far this afternoon. And that ball going to have air all the way till the 35, where it's eventually caught. Another chance at a return eventually stops right before the 50, and it'll be another takeover for the BC offense at midfield.
Yeah, Hazlitt has seen this Boston College special teams unit been blitzing all night, trying to block a punt. He tries to go into it a little bit, tries to take a little dive there after that punt, saying they got him. No flag from the refs, though.
No flag from the refs. Both teams going to huddle on their respective sides of the field. 31-3, BC with a lead, 9:28 to go in this third quarter. It seems BC's going to try to add to their lead. Fordham defense has been strong, but even in the last case of BC scoring points, Fordham defense wasn't even out there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you can't really have that mindset of bend, don't break when you're down by 28 points. Going into a game that's perfectly fine, and that's what we've seen this Fordham defense do recently, especially with the field goal on the last drive for Boston College. But at this point, you can't be allowing Boston College to score anymore, or else your chances of catching up are pretty much diminished.
And from a Fordham offensive perspective specifically, what are you looking out for regardless of the scoreboard for, things going forward throughout this season, things to keep a keen eye on?
I know I said it earlier, but I want to see Fordham be more mindful of staying ahead of the sticks. I want to see them not trying to take big shots every time they have a first down. You want to make it so that your third downs are easier, second downs are easier. If you put yourself in these third down and 10s, third down and 12s, odds are you're not going to have a very good shot at converting it. But if you put yourself in a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 consistently, you're going to convert a handful of those.
And Boston College, on the offensive side, they've done it very efficiently, very productively throughout the entire afternoon. Small chunks of yards, eventually making them or getting them all the way up the field and in scoring positions that they eventually have taken advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to take what the defense gives you. If the defense is sitting back in coverage, don't take the deep shot and throw it into double or triple coverage. Try and find those underneath routes, those guys sitting in between zones, sitting underneath zones. Pick up those 3 yards, so that way you have a 2nd and 7 instead of taking the deep shot, risking an interception to a guy in double coverage where it may fall incomplete, and then you're stuck with a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and from a perspective of at least 10 or more yards, this Fordham team has not really had the confidence in themselves all afternoon that they can go get that if they need to.
No, they've taken a few shots, but none of them have fallen. They've all fallen incomplete. We saw it on the first drive of the game. There was a shot taken down the left sideline that fell incomplete. We've seen it recently on that last drive with that 3rd down play. That one fell incomplete. So they've had the guts to try them every now and then, but haven't been able to convert any of them.
And this Boston College offense had a lot of turnover this season. A lot of new starters, Klein, Lonergan, McDonald, Dougherty. Those are a few of the guys making their first-time starts in the gold and maroon today. It'll be the Boston College offense back out there on the Fordham 49-yard line, right at midfield. They're in the shotgun formation once again. Tight end in front of quarterback Dylan Lonergan. Said Lonergan a lot today. Lonergan, a bit of trouble in the backfield with his running back, Turbo Richard. Eventually runs out of the backfield, makes it a few yards, and gets a small gain to bring 2nd and short. But a weird play there, a bit of miscommunication in the backfield.
Yeah, that snap comes in high. Lonergan has to jump, get his fingertips on it, tip it back up to himself, and catch it. And at that point, that play is so broken that Lonergan has to just try and find a way to not be sacked for 10 yards.
2nd and 5 for the Boston College offense. Ball on the Fordham 46. Same formation, tight end in front of Lonergan. Lonergan gives the handoff right, gets a few yards past the 45. Eventually, Turbo Richard brought down right around the 44.
Now, that looked like what the last play was supposed to be like, just to the opposite side. A handoff with the lead blocker from the tight end in the backfield. Go pick up a few yards. Lonergan actually gets it off this time, gets the handoff off, and Turbo's able to make it a 3rd and short.
If it's broke, try to fix it.
If it's broke, try to fix it.
3rd and 2, ball still at midfield, now past midfield at the Fordham 43. 3rd and 2. Big 3rd down for the Boston College offense. Takes the snap. Lonergan in the backfield, throws it once again to Lewis Bond. He's there for the first down, past the 40 and down at the 35.
Osman, the first guy there in coverage, trying to dive and knock that pass down, but we see these Fordham linebackers playing just behind the sticks there.
9th reception for Lewis Bond. Lonergan takes another snap. That one right up the middle. Turbo Richard getting past a few defenders up the middle and eventually taken down at the 25.
Yeah, Turbo with a great jump cut there. His very first motion with the ball. Jump cuts, find the hole, and picks up good yardage.
Lonergan in the shotgun, quick on the next play, gives it off to Richard. Richard will take it up the middle once again, trying to do his work on the tight end unit of Fordham, and Fordham pancakes him on his back.
Turbo tries to cut back there, find that backside hole, but Sam Burkle wants none of that. He meets him there, and they have a little wrestling match. Burkle's able to take him down. It'll be 3rd and short.
Yeah, 3rd and 1 for the Boston College offense. They've pulled out a few run plays on 3rd and short so far this afternoon. Ball on the Fordham 26, right on the door of the red zone. Lonergan in the shotgun, running back behind him. Gives it to Richard. Richard right up the middle, moving the pile and past the first down right at the cusp of the red zone.
Yeah, this Boston College offensive line gets just enough push, pushes the Fordham defensive line back just a yard or two, but that's just enough room for Turbo to put his shoulder down and get that first down.
Still right on the outside of the red zone on the 22-yard line, the Fordham 22-yard line. 1st and 10 for Boston College. New set of downs after that first down. Another tight end set. Tight end right in front of Lonergan. He moves in motion to his left, given to Turbo Richard right up the middle, and the D-line of Fordham racing to get to Turbo Richard. Seemed like they knew what they were running there.
It looks like they're tired of this Boston College offense trying to run it down their throat. They did it the past few plays, and they did not want any more of it. They were able to rally to that ball and tackle him for a loss.
Tackle was made at the Fordham 23. That's where the ball is placed. 2nd and 11 for the BC offense. 2 receivers to the left and right. Turbo Richard set up in the running back position, now moving in motion far on the near sideline. Dylan Lonergan talking to his line, takes the snap with a clap, looks over the middle, finds Bond in the middle, and that's another short reception for Lewis Bond. Now 10 receptions on the afternoon.
And that is now a career high in receptions for Lewis Bond.
Wow.
His former career high was 9 back in 2024 against North Carolina. With his 10th one here, he sets a new landmark to go with his new career high in receiving yards.
And with that catch, BC in the red zone, 17-yard line, Fordham 17, 3rd and 6. Got to convert if they want to continue to try to get in that end zone. 31-3, BC lead. 5.5 to go in this third quarter. Shotgun set for Lonergan. Richard once again directly to his left. Lonergan drops back to pass after the snap. Looks back right end zone, and the catch! Snag by Reed Harris, mossing Alex Kemper, the captain of this Fordham defense, and that's another touchdown, maybe the most fireworks of any touchdown this afternoon.
Lonergan just throws up a 50-50 ball. He said Reed Harris is down there somewhere, throws it up, Harris goes up, high points the ball, makes the play, gets 1 foot in the back corner of the end zone for the Boston College touchdown.
Boston College adding 37, now 38 with the Lombardo kick on the extra point here. 38-3, Boston College leads. They are proving a lot of people around the country right with this dominant performance so far. And with 5:21 left in this third quarter, seems like there's not a lot of time for Fordham to get all the way back in this game.
Yeah, Boston College now has 31 points unanswered by Fordham. You give that up, that kind of momentum. On top of the points, the momentum that Boston College has, it's making that mountain to climb steeper and steeper for this Fordham team.
We heard maybe a possible push-off by Reed Harris there, but a phenomenal grab in the back of the end zone. Alex Kemper, not of low-level or even average-level cornerbacks, one of the higher-level cornerbacks in the Patriot League, and Reed Harris made him look silly.
He did. He went up and just high points that ball. Kemper never really gets a chance to turn around. And because of that, you have Harris who goes up and doesn't really have that much of a contest when he's high pointing the ball. He's able to catch it easily. The hard part there was really getting the feet in. He had to get 1 foot in. He was almost above the sideline, reaches back, gets 1 foot right on that side of the end zone, and has the catch.
Boston College continues to put it on the Fordham Rams, now a 38-3 lead. Boston College with the commanding lead in this afternoon season opening matchup. 5:21 to go in the third quarter. We'll be right back with Fordham football on 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex Diaz.
And I'm Mary Hannah Gallagher.
And we're the hosts of All In, a women's sports podcast.
On All In, we discuss everything women's sports, from the WNBA, the AUSL, and NWSL.
No matter the sport, we have you covered.
You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
Back here at Boston College, Alumni Stadium. Boston College, the commanding lead, 38-3, 5:21 to go in this third quarter. Boston College with a bunch of unanswered points, and it seems that Fordham seemingly can't get back into this game, into a competitive phase of this game.
And listen, it was competitive at the very beginning. You had this Fordham defense playing out of their minds, getting some big stops against this Boston College offense. You had the offense go down and put up 3 points. It was a 4-point game at one point, and that lead has now ballooned to 31 for Boston College.
It was a very large spread in Vegas. A lot of the experts around the country didn't think this one was going to be close. Fordham kept it close for the first quarter and change of this game, kept it competitive, but it seems now that Boston College meeting their expectation as this game goes down the wire.
Yeah, it looks like Boston College is taking the reins of this game. They're taking control in every aspect of the game, offense, defense, special teams. They've started imposing their will in the second half.
Once again, it's going to be Lombardo. He's been busy all afternoon. He'll kick it off for the BC Eagles. Fordham offense will get it back once again. Lombardo, a long kick right through the uprights, or right through the side of the uprights, had no chance of coming into the field of play, and it'll be a touchback for the Rams.
Yeah, that one didn't even touch down in the end zone. Nothing you can do if you're Lewis there. A couple of Boston College players go into the student section on their way back, trying to hype them up, get them more into this game. It seems like the student section has emptied out a little bit with such a commanding lead.
Yeah, it seems like this whole place is sort of cleared out. We talked about in the earlier stages of this game how packed it was here. Holiday weekend, first game of the season. A lot of high hopes around here in the Boston College program. Coach O'Brien definitely at the lead of that. It'll be Gunnar Smith at the 25, starting this drive off for the Rams, handing it off to Ricky Parks. He'll go up the hole in the middle, past the 30, stopped at the 31.
Yeah, a hole opens up there in the middle for Ricky Parks, one of the bigger ones he's seen today, and he's able to take advantage and pick up 6.
It'll be a second and 4 for the Rams on their own 31-yard line. Gunnar Smith receives the handoff in the shotgun, once again up the middle for Ricky Parks, and he'll get a yard.
Same thing there, one of the bigger holes, except this one, the second level for this Boston College defense, is able to fill it quickly. Ricky Parks has to try, put his shoulder down, drive for some more yards, but unable to do so. It is third and manageable, though.
Third down for the Fordham offense, 3rd and 3, ball on their own 32-yard line. Smith in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Ricky Parks directly to his left, squatted in the backfield. Now moves to the right of Gunnar Smith. Smith takes the snap, drops back to pass, throws it to his left. That's a catch. A catch from the backup tight end. And once again, the chains are moving for the Rams. First down.
Yeah, just a quick out route just past the sticks there for Burton. Gunnar Smith throws that one low. He sees the defender on the top of Burton, throws that one low. Burton goes down and makes the catch.
Another first down for the Rams. Gunnar Smith going to have to leave the pocket immediately, rolls out right, tries to get a quick pass to Noden Tracy. That one's incomplete, out of bounds, and he'll set up second down.
Yeah, it looks like Fordham has run a same play multiple times this game. They were looking for that screen pass over there with the stacked receivers, except on the side that Gunnar Smith was looking to, this Boston College defense, both corners pressed. So there was no way to fit that ball into that gap. Gunnar Smith has to try and scramble and get out of there, ends up just throwing it away.
It's going to be 2nd and 10. Ball on the Fordham 30 Smith. Ball on the 36. Smith has it in the shotgun, receives the snap, throws it to Noden Tracy on the far sideline. He receives it on the screen pass, gets a few yards, and eventually stopped at the 20, or the 40, my mistake.
Same exact play there. The screen pass off the stacked receivers. Boston College only had one corner over there, so you have to try and take your man advantage. Fordham's able to pick up a few.
3rd and 7 for the Fordham Rams. They need this first down to keep it moving. Ball on their own 39. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Receivers stacked on both sides. Got Jamel James with them in the backfield, playing the running back position. 2 linebackers in the second level for BC. Smith takes the snap, drops back. Throws it on the right side, almost intercepted again. It's going to be an incomplete pass, but a flag around the 40-yard line, and we'll see what that's about.
Interesting defense here by Boston College. You see, they did the same thing. They had 2 corners on that side pressing the stacked receivers. They were both up at the line of scrimmage. On the close side of the field where Gunnar Smith never looked, you had 1 corner pressed and 1 corner sitting about 7 yards off.
Penalty was declined. It was on Fordham. Boston College will decline it, leading to 4th and 7 for the Rams. And once again, Will Hazlitt, possibly the MVP of the afternoon so far for the Rams, out there once again for another punting opportunity. Ball on his own 39.
If Hazlitt needed the work, he's definitely getting it today. He's been out there a handful of times.
And that one's blocked. Blocked by BC, eventually picked up by BC in front of the 20, and they're in the red zone. What a play by the Eagles. What a special teams afternoon for the Eagles.
Hey, BC has been blitzing every single time Fordham has been punting the ball. They've been trying to get one, and they finally do have one guy come off the edge, take that ball right off of Will Hazlitt's foot. Hazlitt was quick enough to recover and make the tackle, but now BC gets the ball inside the 20.
It was Charlie Camella making the play for BC, the redshirt freshman. defensive back, hasn't seen a ton of run on the defensive side of the ball, gets his opportunity in special teams, and Brendan, he made the most of it.
He definitely did. You make a play on special teams, the coaches start to notice that type of thing.
3 minutes flat in this third quarter. It's once again Turbo up the middle, breaking a few tackles, eventually taken down ahead of that 15-yard line. BC getting closer to the end zone.
Turbo looked like he was going to break that one towards the end zone. It looked like he was finally breaking that second tackler, but then the tackler ended up getting a hold of his ankle. Turbo ends up going down, but a great run from him.
Great run from Turbo Richard, the sophomore running back coming out of the game. Now back there, it's Alex Broom. Tight end in front of Lonergan once again. Lonergan hands it off up the middle. Will get a few yards shy of the 10-yard line, and that'll set up third down.
Another interesting setup where they throw the tight end in front of Lonergan, and they've ended up motioning him every single time to either the right or the left. It must be to create some sort of uncertainty in the defense as to which side they're going to run the ball to.
3rd and 3. BC going to try and convert and make their way to the end zone. Ball on the Fordham 12 yards to the end zone. 1:54 to go in this third quarter. Ball handed off, fake handoff. Lonergan moving out right, rolling right, gets it to his tight end, who's stopped right away. Fantastic play by James Conway on the tight end, and that'll be 4th down.
Yeah, another sprint out option here. Lonergan sprints out, and really you're just surveying all your options. You have a tight end leaking, you have a running back in the flat, and usually you have a receiver running all the way across from the far side into the back corner of the end zone. If none of those are open, you have the option to scramble. This time he ends up going with the tight end.
And it was the first down. He got the first down just barely, and now 1st and goal. 7 yards away from the end zone, 7 yards to get. 38-3 lead for BC. Lonergan in the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides. Gives it up the middle to Turbo. Richard getting a few yards, gets himself inside the 5, and that'll set up 2nd and goal.
Yeah, Turbo with the run to the right there is able to put his shoulder down, pick up about half of what they need, makes it a 2nd and short.
2nd and short for BC. 4 yards from the goal line. Lonergan going to try and punch this one in. Add another touchdown to this ever-growing BC score total. Lonergan gives it up the middle. Turbo Richard, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and he's in the end zone. Pushing the pile, his teammates all around him with their hands up, and BC in the end zone once again.
Yeah, key block there. You have a tight end coming from right to left after the snap. He's the lead blocker on that one. He kicks out that Fordham defense, opens up a hole right up the middle. Turbo able to go up, throw his shoulder down, and power into the end zone.
44 points for Boston College, 45 with the future extra point about to be attempted. And what a thrashing from Boston College here. Specifically, post the first quarter, Boston College really all business.
Yeah, right now 30 points since that first quarter. They look great out there, and not just the first quarter, but it was 21-3 at halftime. They've already overtaken their first half score.
And they scored the ball a decent amount in that first half, and the offense seemed to be moving a lot in that first half. The fact that they're already on a faster pace is ridiculous. We're not even at the fourth quarter yet. 30 seconds left in this third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, almost 24 points in the third quarter alone. And it looks like this one's going to review.
Yeah, it seems like that one's going to be under review. The pile was being pushed by Turbo Richard, and it was a big scrum of people who weren't totally sure he had the touchdown, but it seemed that everyone around him thought he had the touchdown.
It looked like he was close. The ref on the far side of the field came in motioning touchdown. Yeah. So it looked as if he had it. I guess they're going to check every angle, obviously, but was an elbow down? It's going to be hard to tell because it was in such a big scrum there, too.
Yeah, not sure. They're showing the replay in reverse and fast forward on the scoreboard here at the stadium. Not totally sure from the vantage point they're showing us truly if that's a touchdown or not. Either way, they're taking a little break. We'll take a break along with them. It's 44-3 before the extra point, and the ruling on the field is upheld. We'll stay here. It's a touchdown for Boston College. They confirm the decision there. It's Turbo Richard getting that touchdown. And 44-3, the score stays the same with an extra point coming up. Lombardo settling around the extra point spot.
Yeah, very quick review there for these referees. I guess either there wasn't an angle that would overturn it or there was an angle that confirmed it, but Turbo gets the touchdown and BC extends their lead.
BC getting ready to kick it off, getting the extra point there. That one is good. 45-3, BC leads. They are piling it on this Fordham Ram team.
Yeah, I mean, they look dominant in this second half. They look like a completely different team than they did in that first half, that first quarter. They just cannot be stopped right now.
Can't be stopped. And the Fordham offense on the other side of the ball really having trouble. That pick six seeming to be the biggest example of the trouble this Fordham offense is having.
It does. It looked like that was almost like a knockout blow to start the half. I mean, you come into the half, you get the ball, you're down 18, it's manageable, but then immediately pick six for Boston College puts you in an even bigger hole, and then you're in trouble.
Lombardo, like his peer Will Haslett, out there a lot today. He's going to kick this one off after the touchdown once again. Or actually, no, Lombardo taken out. Liam Connor coming in to kick. Or actually, Andy Quinn, not Liam Connor. They're going the punter here at the latter stages of this matchup. We have punter Andy Quinn kicking it off. 6'4", 199, built like a real football player, as that one used all of his big leg to kick that one out of the end zone.
Yeah, big enough to be a linebacker or a running back. He's got that size to him. Surprising. You wouldn't usually expect to see that from a kicker or punter.
And I've talked to you about this a few times already throughout this game, especially at the second half of this game. But individually, what Fordham wants to accomplish here at the latter stage of this game, the rest of this game, what would it be if it was one thing?
I think at this point, you're down 42. You kind of want to get the run game going to show some promise in that direction.
It's going to be Smith in the shotgun, getting it across midfield. Noden Tracy making a fantastic grab for the Rams and moving the chains. First down, ball down at the 35-yard line, 36-yard line.
Yeah, great catch there by Tracy. A full hands catch, diving and extending for the first down.
Receivers stacked on both sides for the Rams. Gunnar Smith gets it in the shotgun, receives the snap, passes it on the near sideline, ends up not amounting to a lot of yards. I would say a gain of 3 there for Jack Freeberg.
Yeah, Jack Freeberg, with quick screen pass, trying to get a few yards. Freeberg just has one guy to beat, and he's able to put his shoulder and pick up a couple yards, but that defender ends up taking him down with him for just a short gain.
2 yards a gain there. 2nd and 8 set up. Ball on the BC 38-yard line, or the Fordham 38-yard line.
They're set up well. I mean, they're moving so far this drive. First down already. Now you have second down and medium to long. It's looking like it has the buildings to be potentially a good drive for Fordham.
45-3, Boston College with a massive lead over the traveling Fordham Rams. We'll be right back from the campus of Boston College. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are 2 of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every Ram. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
Back here at Alumni Stadium on the beautiful campus of Boston College. We've really enjoyed our short time here at Boston College. Beautiful campus and beautiful program here. A lot of support from students, from alumni, and the team, giving them their respective due for that sort of support, and they've put on a show today, offensively and defensively.
They have put on a show, and you mentioned all the fans, and that's really where it starts with these college football programs. just walking into the stadium, so many tailgates were out there that we saw, that we walked by, and all the support they get from the fans, it translates into a better product on the field. And so you have the fan support, you have this team that was pretty much given a fresh start last year with the Bill O'Brien hiring, and he has completely turned this program around in a way where you have the students getting so into it, and the team is putting out such a good product. They're playing great football on the field. It makes the entire environment, the entire attitude of the school, it brings it up a lot.
Yeah, the size of the student section this afternoon has dissipated. There is less than when the game started, but still a lot of students here. This is a large deficit that Fordham currently faces, and it seems Boston College still has a lot of student support.
They do, and at the beginning of the game, whenever it was full, it spanned probably three and a half sections behind the end zone. And right now we're sitting at about 1 to 2 sections worth of students spread out among those different sections behind the end zone. So still, despite all of the students that have already left this game, a lot of support still.
Boston College community desperate for a more than 7-win season. 7 wins last year. Haven't had more than 7 wins in a decade. And they think that quarterback Dylan Lonergan and this group are the group to do it. And, of course, going after that illustrious ACC title. ACC getting more and more packed every year in football. SMU establishing themselves. Clemson, obviously, the major power in the conference. Smith gets it there in the shotgun, off the handoff, hands it off. And that one will be up the middle. Ricky Parks will get 4 yards for second down.
Yeah, good run there, right up the middle. James finds the hole. It opens late, but he's able to wait, finds the hole, and picks up a few yards.
It's going to be 3rd and 4 for the Fordham offense. Ball on their own 42-yard line. Still a large deficit they're facing. Smith dropping back to pass in the shotgun, throws it over the middle, and just through the hands of his receiver. That will once again be an incompletion and another 4th down for the Rams.
Yeah, Jack Benton, the receiver on that one. He runs a dig about 10 yards past the sticks, cutting across the middle. Gunnar Smith tries to hit him in stride, but that one may have missed just a tiny bit, comes in hot. Benton not able to haul that one in.
It's going to be, once again, Will Hazlitt and the kicking team out there. Another punting opportunity for the Rams. And the punt return unit of Boston College definitely has gotten a lot of work today.
It looks like Hazlitt's day is done. It looks like that's Dominic Sansone out there.
Oh, WFUV's own Dominic Sansone coming in late in this game. He's the backup punter on the roster. He sent that one landing at the 20 and bouncing, finally done at the 17-yard line. Dominic Sansone, WFUV's own, making an impact in the special teams.
Yeah, first punt of the day and puts him inside the 20.
I've gotten so used to Will Hazlitt this afternoon, Brendan.
We've seen a lot of Hazlitt. They give him a rest. I'm sure his leg is feeling the amount of punts that he's had already. It's feeling a little tired. Give Dominic Sansone a little bit of playing time there. And he drops his first punt inside the 20. You can't ask for much more.
Yeah, congratulations to Dom. A big moment for WFUV Sports for sure. And Boston College offense will take over. It's the backup quarterback now in there. Lonergan finally takes a rest, and Grayson James starting it out. First play of his afternoon, all the way out to around the first down marker. That's going to be an 8-yard run for him. He's going to kept it himself. Now a 2nd and 1.
Yeah, I mean, Grayson James, it's a play we've seen on the other side of the ball with Gunnar Smith, where he decides to keep it, takes to the edge, and is able to pick up 9 yards on that first down carry.
James in the shotgun once again. Wide receivers stacked to the left, no receivers to the right. Got Alex Broom directly to his right. He hands it off to Broom. Broom blown up in the backfield. Blown up by a few guys, led by Colby Spencer on that Fordham D-line. That's going to be a loss of yards for the Eagles.
Yeah, Colby Spencer quickly sheds the block from the offensive line, is able to get into the backfield, make the tackle for loss. He ends up dropping him for about 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
It's going to be a 3rd and 4 for the Eagles. Ball on their own 22-yard line. James in the shotgun. Same Broom next to him, this time to his left. 2 receivers on both sides. James fakes the motion to Broom, then keeps him in the backfield. Claps for the snap, receives the snap. Throws it deep on the right side. Wide open wide receiver. Catches the ball and is running. past the 30, finally tackled at the 25. Another chunk play for this Boston College offense.
And that is the perfect beater to what they saw from the defense. We saw the defense there, cover 2. You can beat cover 2 a few ways. One way is down the sidelines, and you hit the gap in between the corner and safety, and that is exactly what we saw James do there.
That's the true freshman, Dawson Poe, on the catch. The biggest play of his young college career, very young college career. And that's Alex Broom going up the middle on the play directly after, getting 1 or 2 yards. Then he'll set up 2nd and 8. Ball on the Fordham 24. What a big chunk play by the Boston College offense.
Massive chunk play. You don't really expect a whole lot of those when you see the second unit come into the game. But James doesn't care. He goes deep anyways. Finds his receiver for a massive gain.
It's going to be 2nd and 8. Boston College offense. Ball on the 24. Fordham 24. Be handed off to Grayson James. Or Grayson James hands it off. Broom has it. Tried to bounce it out to the left side a little too far. Ends up taking it for a loss of yards. T.J. Jones the second on the tackle.
Yeah, great job there by T.J. Jones. He needs a shout-out there. When you're on defense, the one big thing you're taught is to keep the edge. You don't want to let the guys get around you. Whoever has the ball, you want to push them back into the middle where you have help. And he does just that. He takes the outside approach, ends up making the tackle.
Broom still out there in the backfield in the running back position. Grayson James in the shotgun. One receiver on both sides. Receiver in motion now on the right side. Grayson James quieting down his line. Takes the snap with the clap once again. Looks back left near the end zone. A catch and a reach out for the pylon. Couldn't quite grab it, but another massive pass play for Grayson James to the same wide receiver, Dawson Poe.
Yeah, James sees one safety sitting over the top. He knows he's going to have stuff on the outsides open. He throws the quick out route.
It's going to be 3 receivers stacked together on the right side, and that ball right up the middle, and a touchdown. Boston College in the end zone once again. We have one ref saying touchdown, the other saying no touchdown. And it's going to be a flag. It's a flag in the back right corner of the Boston College end zone, and we'll see who that's on.
If this play stands, it's a very short touchdown run from Broom there, just pushing up the middle.
Would be 51-3 with the touchdown. Fordham Rams receiving more than 11 players on the field penalty, and that's going to get declined. It's going to be a touchdown for the Boston College Eagles. Another successful drive, this time with their backup quarterback Grayson James and freshman wide receivers all over the place. Finally getting another productive drive done. More production, doesn't matter who's on the field in maroon and gold.
No, it really doesn't. In this drive, it was big play after big play, eating up chunks of the field, getting into the red zone quickly, and then just punching it in when you have that first and short on the goal line, just punching it and putting those points on the board.
That kick was Luca Lombardi on the extra point, making it 52-3. Boston College, a major lead in this matchup. 10:56 to go in this fourth quarter. We're going to take it back to the Rose Hill studio with our boss, Joe Henry, on the one-on-one update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Well, thank you, Chris. Patriot League action in Week 1, some non-conference tilts for Fordham's conference foes, but one intra-conference matchup early today, Lehigh and Richmond, a 21-14 win for Lehigh in that one. Bucknell visiting Air Force and losing 7-21 in the middle of the second there. Holy Cross over at Northern Illinois, a ranked program for part of 2024. The Crusaders trailing by just a field goal 3-0 in the second. And scary news for Fordham, a Georgetown Hoyas team that beat the Rams 31-0 last year, just beat the brakes off of Davidson 51-14 to start its season on the highest of high notes. Most of Fordham's Patriot League opponents holding up well in Week 1. With your one-on-one scoreboard updates, I've been Joe Henry, sending it back to BC.
.10:56 to go in this afternoon matchup, this season opener between both teams, Boston College Eagles and the Fordham Rams. Boston College with a commanding, and I mean commanding lead, 52-3. Joined by my partner, Brendan Shorey. I'm Chris Carrino. Brendan, It's been a bit of a downtrodden second half for the Fordham Rams. Any positives you've seen in this second half for the Rams that they could take home with them for the rest of the season?
Yeah, there are positives. There's flashes that you see from both the offense and the defense. We saw last drive for the offense, able to pick up a first down, able to move the chains a little bit, but then they get stopped. We see on the defensive side of the ball, there are plays where you have a massive chunk play for this Boston College offense, but there are also plays where you get a stop in the backfield, where you knock down a pass, and you have to take those plays, especially in a game like this. You have to take those plays and take something from them, take some positivity from them, and be like, this, we know what we can do. We've seen we can do this type of stuff against an ACC opponent, and that can translate into the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. From a competition perspective, I don't know if it'll be steeper than Boston College. There's a lot of good teams in the Patriot League, but this is an above-average ACC team, a team that was over 500 last season. This is a more than worthy adversary for the Fordham Rams to start their season against.
It is. It's a big test in week one, obviously, to come in and not just play against a Power 4 team, but on the road against a Power 4 team in front of all their fans in their home stadium. It definitely is a big test, and whether it's a good test or a bad test, there's always something that you can learn from it.
It's going to be Andy Quinn out there once again kicking it off for the Eagles. It'll be a touchback, and the Fordham Rams will start offensively once again.
Andy Quinn was excited.
Andy Quinn was excited. I believe we're going to see Jack Capaldi here.
I would love to see Jack Capaldi in the game.
Jack Capaldi, along with Trip Holly, setting up the QB room for the Fordham Rams. Capaldi and Gunnar Smith in a QB battle all offseason. Smith ended up winning it, and he's still out there, still letting the debut of Gunnar Smith continue, wanting to get more play, have more stuff on film, I guess, Brendan, right?
Yeah, just test him out a little more.
Ball was snapped, tried to throw a screen pass to Ricky Parks in the backfield, ended up getting swatted away, incomplete pass, setting up second down.
Yeah, no harm in keeping Gunnar Smith out there. You get to see a little bit more from him, have him go against a Power 4 defense like Boston College, just gives him a little more reps going into the season.
And on the other sideline, from the perspective of Boston College, Dylan Lonergan, you've seen everything you need to see.
You have. I mean, you've seen him on dice up this Fordham defense through the air. He's played amazing pretty much this entire game.
And that's going to be a catch. Noden Tracy over the 40, eventually stopped at the 45. Boston College defensive coordinator not happy with that one on the near sideline, and that's going to set up another first down, now at the 45.
That one was just a 10-yard out route. Gunnar Smith hit Noden Tracy on the break, easy completion.
It's going to be on the near sideline, screen pass. Jack Freeberg getting a few yards past the 50-yard line and eventually pushed out of bounds.
Fordham loves this screen pass here. Stack the receivers on the outside, have the lead receiver block, and let the guy in the back try and wiggle his way up for a few yards. This time it does work for a gain of 7.
2nd and 3. Ball past the 50-yard line on the 48. Still 52-3, Boston College lead. 10-11 to go in this fourth quarter. Smith back to pass. Deflected at the line. It's going to be a flag right around the quarterback. Not sure what side of the field that's on, but a deflected ball nonetheless, incomplete.
Gunnar Smith had a lot of time on this play to drop back, try and deliver a good pass, and it was an accurate pass until it was tipped by one of those big guys up front. Unfortunately for him, fell incomplete, but there is the flag on the play.
And it's an offensive flag. It's going to hurt the Fordham Rams even more. They're going to go back 10 yards, and that definitely did not help this drive so far.
No, it started out as a great drive. Fordham offense moving the ball. Those holding penalties, they always set you back. They always come back to hurt you.
Ball on the Fordham 42, backed up, back behind the 50-yard line. 2nd and 13, Smith gets it in the shotgun, fakes the handoff, throws it over the middle. Noden Tracy and a defensive back draped all over him, Max Tucker, and he separates the ball, incomplete.
Yeah, Max Tucker with fantastic coverage there. Gunnar Smith is eyeing Tracy the entire time. Tracy on that slant route, but so closely guarded by Tucker, he gets his hand in there and breaks that one up.
It's going to be 3rd down and 13, another 3rd and long for Gunnar Smith and the Fordham Rams. Ball on the Fordham 42. 52-3 still to score. 10 minutes flat in this fourth quarter. Smith looks right, now scans the whole field, leaves the pocket, throws it over the middle, incomplete. just in front of his wide receiver, and that'll be 4th down.
All the way up until the throw, that was a fantastic job by Gunnar Smith there. Feels the pressure, steps up in the pocket, avoids the rushers, and then decides he wants to try and go back across the field. Does not have enough on that ball. Ends up just grounding it short of the receiver. And that's now going to be another 4th down for Fordham.
And another opportunity for Dominic Sansone. At the Fordham 42-yard line, he's going to get another punting opportunity on 4th and 13. FUV zone, Sansone kicking it off. It'll eventually drop at the 20 into the hands of a receiver. He bounces off a few tackles, takes it near the near sideline, has blockers. Finally taken down past the 40, right before the 45, but a massive return for Boston College.
Charlie Camella there, the redshirt freshman on the return, shrugs off multiple guys at the very beginning of that return, and it looked like we were about to see Dominic Sansone make a play. It looked like he was going to have to be the tackler there.
That would have been electric.
That would have been fun to see, but Camella tackled before he was able to reach that level, but nonetheless, great return there.
Yeah, great return there. We're going to take a little break here from Alumni Stadium in Boston College. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports and 90.7 FM.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Chris Carrino, joined by Brendan Shorey, my partner. We have on-site producer Tucker Austin here as well in the booth here at Alumni Stadium on the campus of Boston College. It has been a long game so far this afternoon, and a long game for the Fordham defense specifically. 52 points for Boston College.
Yeah, the first half was a pretty good half in terms of how this Fordham team and defense played, 21-3 at the half. But this second half has just been all Boston College imposing their will on the Fordham defense, Boston College imposing their will on the Fordham offense as well. They are playing all three aspects of the game super well and just purely dominating Fordham in every aspect.
How many unanswered points, Brendan?
45 by my calculations.
Hard to win football games with that many points unanswered. What made that stretch go unanswered when in the beginning of the game it felt like they were going to be really competitive?
Hard to win games when there's that many points in general as well. But usually teams will script out a certain amount of plays at the beginning of the game or the beginning of the second half, and the Fordham script for that first drive worked out super well and ended up driving them down the field into field goal range. But since then, nothing they've been trying to run has really been working.
Once again, Grayson James taking the reins of the Boston College offense. James in the shotgun, takes the snap, looks back to pass, goes deep to pass, has a receiver open, and it's caught. Taken down at the 2-yard line. A massive play there for Boston College once again. You would think with this big lead, they're taking their foot off the gas. Absolutely not. Arguably the biggest play of the afternoon.
V.J. Wilkins there, the receiver, the redshirt junior, makes the play way over the top. That throw, he just floats it up there. Wilkins gets under it for the big gain.
Ball at the 2. They're going to punch it in quickly, and they do. Touchdown, Boston College. Very impressive and very quick.
Super quick drive there. The big play, and then punching it in there from 2 yards out, 3 yards out, adding on to their lead. That makes it, Chris, 51 unanswered points pending the extra point now for this Boston College team.
That's a lot of unanswered points, Brendan.
That really is.
What specifically is that? Specifically, the receiver outrunning the defensive back. What is that intricately that has a guy like that just so open?
It looked like what Fordham was running defensively. It looked like they were running a cover zero. They didn't have anyone sitting over the top, and it looked like receiver just beats corner, ends up outrunning him, comes back to the ball, which gave him a little more separation, able to make the catch without really any contest there, and then turns up field. Corner was able to tackle, but obviously the catch has already been made, and you're inside the 5 at that point.
Yeah, another tough play for the Fordham defense. The Fordham defense continuing to get pounded on throughout this entire afternoon. That play really an exclamation point of everything that's gone on so far this afternoon. And something like cover 3 or cover 2 would have been way more beneficial there.
Yes. I mean, it's just the luck that you run into with that kind of thing. And honestly, it's another thing you see from these quarterbacks playing is James there with his anticipation. They get the ball out early. They get the ball out before there really is any real separation. That way, once the separation is there, that ball is already coming down.
9 minutes, 10 seconds left in this fourth quarter and game on the opener to the season for both of these programs. BC, I think in a commanding spot, 59-3, have dominated, especially in the second half offensively in this game, and the Fordham defense has just not had enough to compete.
Yeah, the Fordham defense has just been outmatched in the second half, and what we saw in the first half...
It's even these second units, Brendan. It's not even their starters.
It's weird, too, because we saw in the first half 4 consecutive stops by this Fordham defense, but in the second half, they don't have any stops. They just don't seem to have anything to account for what this Boston College offense is throwing out there.
It's going to be the Fordham offense taking over once again. Gunnar Smith out there once again. It's going to be a run up the middle. First play of the drive, going to pick up 2 to 3 yards on the ground. Just Jamel James on the run.
Just an inside zone there from Jamel James. Finds the gap on the right side of the line. Ends up picking up a couple of yards. And this is something that Fordham has kind of lacked for a lot of the days, first down production.
Yeah. Jamel James is in the backfield with backup tight end Matt Baran. 2 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right. Smith in the shotgun, directing his line. Baran moving in motion to his right, on the right side of the line. Fakes the handoff, and he has it. Tricked the whole defense. Eventually, Gunnar Smith gets the first down past the 35 to the 37. What a play, what a keep from Gunnar Smith there. Not Gunnar Henderson.
Gunnar Smith had me fooled as well.
Yes.
My eyes were on Jamel James there, and then your call brought me back to Gunnar Smith. I mean,
I've never seen a defense so longly fooled. They were fooled for 4 to 5 seconds there.
They were. Everyone was in pursuit of Jamel James.
It's going to be a first down, multiple first downs now for the Fordham offense. A good sign. That's going to be a run up the middle. Jamel James, 2 or 3 yards on the carry, and that'll set up second down. Still in their own territory.
Another run where there's not a whole lot going on there. I mean, this Fordham offense, you look at this run game, and it just does not look like they can do anything against this Boston College D-line. Jamel James coming into the quarter, averaging just half a yard per carry. Fordham run game really needs to get going here.
Gunnar still in the shotgun with Jamel still to his right. He's got receivers everywhere. Fakes the handoff, drops back to pass, goes deep, and doesn't get him. Too far out for Jack Freeberg. Freeberg had his defender beat, was in front of his defender, but couldn't quite make the grab.
Yeah, Freeberg there, a little slot fade action. Lines up in the slot and takes that fade outside the numbers. You have 1 safety sitting over the top, but when you run that from the slot, it kind of takes you away from him. Pretty much one-on-one coverage there. He had his man. That throw just beats him. That throw just ahead of him by a couple yards.
3rd and 10 for the Fordham offense, still in their own territory at the 37. 7:19 to go in this matchup. Smith in the shotgun, receives the snap, drops back to pass, looks over the middle, finds a receiver, and that's another first down for the Fordham offense. That time it was Matt Baran, the backup tight end.
Yeah, Burton there with just a simple in route, a dig just past the sticks, and he finds himself wide open without a defender within 5 yards, able to catch that for the first down.
And Smith quickly getting ready for the next play. It's a screen pass on the far sideline. Gets a ton of yards, eventually pushed out past the 35. What a play there by the senior.
Fordham has a man advantage out there. You look over, you see two receivers, only one corner lined up out there. You have to take advantage of those types of things. You have a lead blocker, and then you have a receiver who has nothing but space.
Yeah, Jack Benton walking the imaginary tightrope down the far sideline there. Gunnar Smith still in the shotgun. Two receivers on both sides. He gives the handoff to Ricky Parks. Ricky Parks is tripped almost immediately, and that'll be no gain, setting up second down.
Yeah, another run without any traction, any gain. I mean, this Fordham run, I already said this, but this Fordham run offense just not able to really do anything today. Ricky Parks coming in coming into the quarter, averaging just 2 yards a carry. The passing offense has really been what's been keeping this Fordham offense even moving.
Parks still in the backfield with Smith. Smith in the shotgun. Two receivers on both sides. He claps for the snap and receives it. Smith receives company right away in the backfield. Almost threw an interception on this near sideline. It flies out of bounds, but the cornerback there at BC was almost right on it.
Yeah, that play was blown up from the beginning. BC sends pressure. They send 5 or 6 guys at Smith. One guy gets free up the middle and is able to pressure Smith up the middle. He has to extend the play, scramble right, and ends up just trying to throw. Whether this was to the receiver or whether he was trying to throw it away, it became awfully close to getting picked.
Another third down for Gunnar Smith, 3rd and 11. Ball at Boston College's 35. He drops back to pass, finds a receiver over the middle, but he's taken down almost immediately. And there's a flag on the play, some laundry on the turf.
Yeah, everyone was pressed up against the receivers all across the board. One way to kind of signify that it might be man coverage. Smith sees this, just tries to throw a little drag route just a little low, and that receiver has to go down to the ground for it.
And the Fordham offense going to move up here, move up the field, going to get even closer now in the red zone. That was a personal foul on the penalty, and it'll go against Boston College. Fordham makes their way all the way within the 20, now at the 17. First down, fresh set of downs for Gunnar Smith and his squad.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a late hit, a late push on Gunnar Smith on that.
Be Smith in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. First down, 17 yards to the goal line, drops back to pass, looks right, throws in the back right of the end zone, and can't quite keep it in bounds. Jack Freeberg was there. It would have been close, but ball flies out of bounds for second down.
Yeah, the Eagles here run some sort of stunt up front and get a free rusher right up the middle with Gunnar Smith in his sights. Smith stands strong, stands tall, throws that one towards the back of the end zone. The throw misses by a bit, but he got hammered.
Smith in the shotgun once again, 2nd and 10. Going to try it once again. Have real chances at the end zone for the first time today. That's a dump-off pass. Far sideline, running the tightrope, eventually gets to the 2 and stopped. Jamel James in the wide receiver position. The running back catches that one, gets them super close to the end zone, within 2 yards.
Yeah, usually your check down is your last option. You go through your progressions. If nothing else is open, you go to your check down. That time, Jamel James was the first one open, and Smith went right there.
Gunnar Smith keeps it on the keeper and scores. The read option, he makes the right decision I can't even count the number of times today, and he scores on that one. Gunnar Smith, first touchdown for the Fordham Rams, and the first touchdown of the 2025 season for the Fordham Rams. Took them almost 4 quarters, but they finally got it.
5 minutes left on the clock here, Chris, but they got it. That Boston College defense was fooled. They all went towards the middle, towards Jamel James. Gunnar Smith pulled that one out and ended up taking it out around the outside for the walk-in touchdown.
Gunnar Smith has shown to be valuable with his legs in the backfield along with his arm, as the extra point is good there. And Fordham getting on the board in the biggest variety possible. Touchdown for the first time this afternoon. All they had was 1 field goal all afternoon long.
And no longer an unanswered point streak, Chris. Fordham actually has an unanswered point streak, if you want to count that, of 7. But that Boston College 52 unanswered is now done.
It was James Duneman, the second, coming in to kick that one, and he did. And it's even closer. What's the deficit now, Brendan?
49 points.
49 points, 7 touchdowns to be exact. This Fordham team showed everything that when they're at their best, they'll be in that drive there.
They did. It's flashes. It's been flashes all game, and they were finally able to put a few of those flashes together on this drive. And one play led to another, and there was even a time on that drive they got backed up. They got behind the sticks, 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13, but they came through. They were able to get that first down, and that is how Fordham offense is going to be playing throughout the rest of the season. There are some exciting things to look forward to.
59-10, 49-point lead, as Brendan said, for the Boston College Eagles. 5 minutes flat to go in this fourth quarter. And defensively for the Rams, they'd like to see something similar on this next drive. Just good signs, good flashes of what could come positively the rest of the season.
Yeah, obviously it's late in the game. You're down 7 scores. You don't have any realistic expectation that you're going to come back and win this game. But what you want to see is that your guys go out there, that they're still fighting, they're still competing, and still putting out a product that you can be proud of. Like, you want your defense to go out, and you have now a touchdown drive to build off of. If this defense can build off of that, then you have something positive to look forward to going into next week.
Yeah, letting the offense and the defense build momentum off each other. I think that, especially at this stage in the game, kind of thinking more about themselves than the team on the other sideline, that's very important.
It's very important going into the rest of the season, and now that Fordham has essentially completed their ACC game that they had on the schedule. Now, when they look to go play even into Patriot League play in a couple of weeks, they had that experience. But you get into kind of the swing of things, you kind of build some momentum going into that.
Slightly different opponents for both these teams coming up next week. Both start with the letter M. I think that's the only similarity between the two teams. Fordham has Monmouth 6 p.m. on Saturday night under the lights at Moglia Stadium. That should be a fun one. And Boston College, they had the Fordham adversary this week, and now Michigan State next week. Big Ten competition for Boston College. They have a lot to be happy about in this one, going into that one. They have
a lot to be happy about, and they have a lot to build off of as well. We saw their offense during the first half, and even, honestly, more of the third quarter that we saw here is a lot to build off of. It's a lot to look at and be proud of. Their defense as well in the second half. A lot to be proud of, a lot to build off of going into a game against a Big Ten opponent.
Yeah, Big Ten opponent. That one is going to be 7:30 next Saturday. That one, another night game. Both these teams playing night games next week as Fordham kicks it off once again. That one will go through the end zone. A touchback for the Boston College offense.
And Bo McCormick, the return guy there, looked like he thought that one was going to go out of bounds, or at least had a chance. He lets that one bounce, and it bounces just inside the end zone before bouncing through.
Yeah, Boston College going to East Lansing next Saturday night. That will be a primetime game. It should have a lot of juice, a lot of energy. Two programs trying to revitalize past success. Michigan State already won. That was last night, 23-6 over Western Michigan. That'll be a handoff right up the middle. And a couple yards. It'll set up a 2nd and 5 for Boston College. It was Alex Broom on the run.
Yeah, Broom, a solid run there, able to pick up about half of what they needed, almost half of what they needed. But at this point, you're Boston College. You're just trying to run the clock down, but you're also trying to keep what you're doing and put out a product that, you know, can also carry over into next week.
Anthony Ferrucci behind quarterback Grayson James in the shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides. It'll be a run play right up the middle, trying to make a move past a few, ends up getting stuck and doesn't even make it to the 35, stuck at the 34.
Great thing he does here is he keeps his feet moving. That's a big thing that they teach running backs is even when you get hit, keep your feet moving because you never know what's going to happen, whether you can bounce off another defender or just power through a guy. This time he keeps his feet moving and is able to make it a 3rd and 1.
Anthony Ferrucci, the redshirt sophomore running back, a lot of running backs to compete with here at Boston College, and he's gotten some time and some play here.
He has, and I know it's late in the game, but to be able to get time out on this field and get some more reps in and show these coaches what you can do, it's always a good thing.
It's going to be a timeout on the field. We're going to take a timeout up here in the booth as well. Boston College 59-10 over the trailing and visiting Fordham Rams. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Spiro Ditas, WFUV class of 2001. WFUV is the epicenter of Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, men's and women's basketball, and of course, our iconic Saturday show, One on One. So keep your radios locked in right here, 90.7 FM, for all things WFUV sports.
Back here at Alumni Stadium, the beautiful campus of Boston College, are right toward the end of this matchup. Fordham and Boston College, 3:11 to go in the fourth quarter, 59-10, Boston College. Grayson back to pass, finds a receiver deep. Grayson James finds a receiver at the 35, eventually taken down inside the 25. Another big chunk play for this Boston College offense, an offense who has been abundant with them all afternoon long.
And that was Luke McLaughlin there getting wide open on the corner route. It didn't look like there was a Fordham defender within 5 to 10 yards of him. Not sure how that happened, but the wide open route gets the reception, able to carry it up the field for a few more yards.
It's going to be a loss of yards directly on the next play, setting up second down. It's going to be, or not a loss of yards, a gain of 2.